You are about to enter the Red and Rev Sports Show experience. Get ready for some real sports talk from some real sports fans who were real sports athletes who have sports knowledge.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Red and Rev Sports Show. I am the coach, and ladies and gentlemen, it is that time. It is that time for March Madness, where everything goes crazy and sports are all over the place. All of them are all over the place. Football, basketball, baseball, hockey, soccer, anything you name. We got madness going on. We got upsets. We got chalk. We got buzzer beaters. That's all. Every year is a buzzer beater in the game.
We're having some technical difficulties with Coach, but nevertheless, welcome to another episode of the Red and Rev Sports Show. I am the Sports Rev, and we're going to have some great sports talk on today as we prepare for this wonderful episode. We got our Braves report that'll be coming down the pike as baseball season is right around the corner. But we're in the thick of March Madness. And March Madness is right in front of us, and the madness has already begun. Also, we'll be talking about the WNBA, some injuries in the NBA, expansion in the NBA, as well as some NFL news and the World Baseball Classic results. So if you don't mind, hang out with your boys, Red, Rev, and Coach, as we embark upon episode 416 of the Red and Rev Sports Show. Now let me bring the fellas back in. What's going on?
What's up?
There we go. Welcome to another episode of the Red and Rev Sports Show. Red and Coach are coming to live from the ATL. Charlie, giving you real sports talk. Because we are real sports fans, we're real sports athletes who have what, gentlemen? Real sports knowledge. So hang out with your boys, Red, Rev, and Coach. Episode 416 of the Red and Rev Sports Show. And hopefully Coach's mic is good and his technology is good so we can get our number from our numerologist, Coach Patrick Thomas, dealing with something or someone dealing with those 3 digits, 4, 1, and 6. What do you got for us, Coach?
Like the commercial say, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
All right, I don't know what happened. I was rolling along, looked like everything was all right, and you jumped in. I said, oh, Lord, something done happened. Ladies and gentlemen, 416, we're going to associate that with football. And it's an oddly known fact, well, not known, that's why it's oddly, fact that the Kansas City Chiefs had a running back. And I know you know this name, but you don't know it in football a lot. The guy name was Larry Johnson. He was a running back for the Kansas City Chiefs back in the day, not grandmama. This is another Larry Johnson who was a runner. And Larry Johnson 1 year accumulated the most carries for anybody in NFL history. And I guess you can guess what that number is right now, 416. He had 416 carries 1 year. So that's where our number comes from. The number 416 carries by Larry Johnson in a single season.
All right. Larry Johnson, 416, and Larry Johnson played for KC for 6 years, 2003 to 2009. Also had 1 season with the Bengals. Many people in the area where I now live know about Larry Johnson, where he was a Penn State running back.
Oh, yeah.
And Kansas City drafted him when he played for the Penn State Nittany Lions. So
yes,
I wasn't expecting a Larry Johnson reference, that's for sure.
Yes, came out the archives.
For sure. We'll let Red back in just a minute. He had to step away. What's going on? Let's celebrate our Revenite Nation real quickly. We got Joe Black tuning in. What's up with you? I am Jameson. The VP is briefly in the building, ready to slam down again. Another 5 session of the Red and Red Sports Show. Revenite Nation rise up. Wonder if he's going to the South Carolina game today.
Yeah, of course. He's going to run away.
He said, someone please check on Coach. We've given him the 48 hours. It's almost that 48 hours rule.
Oh, Lord.
VP said, heck of a running back. He got me a ton of fantasy points that 1 year. I wonder if you were playing for money that year, because for you to be talking about how many points he got you, some money had to be made. The president is in the building. Good morning to you, coming to you from the tap dancing Tuna Tribes.
Tupelo.
In Tupelo, Mississippi. My. I didn't know Mississippi was known for its tuna. I know they're known for their catfish. The VP said, Coach reached deep in his bag on that one. Good one, Coach. And then the VP said, yes, we're heading to pregame before our matchup this afternoon. I kind of figured that was the deal. All right, Coach, thank you for 416. Red, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, let's roll, man. Let's get this thing party going. We want to welcome Revenite Nation once again. Feel free to share this broadcast and like it as well as we get ready to start another episode of the Red and Red Sports Show, episode 4, 1, and 6. Let's go right into it with our dope, nope, and cope moments. We'll share our favorite moments for the week. Moments that we're still shaking our heads about, where we're noping and coping, trying to still wrestle our minds around it. So, Red, I'm going to start with you. Since you said you're ready, what's your dope moment for this week?
Okay. My dope moment is Luka Doncic and my Lakers. I mean, I had a few more, but it ain't nothing more doper than that. I mean, I maybe thought about my Hawks had they won last night, but no, just gonna go with Luka Doncic and my Lakers. 60 points. Hadn't lost in almost 2 weeks. 8-game winning streak, which even shocked me that they played the Miami game, which allowed the Hawks to raise up to the 6th spot. So good job, Lakers. Because I sure didn't think after those back-to-back Houston games they would have enough energy for Miami. Man, I see something going on with this team there. I mean, they played back-to-back Miami. Won. Luka's on the run right now. So I just like what's going on right now. I don't want to get too excited, but I really like what's going on right now. You knew what my Hawks too. So both my NBA teams get a dope for this week. Because up until last night, the Hawks hadn't lost for about 2 or 3 weeks. So like I say, Hawks, good 11-game winning streak. Don't worry about last night. Pick it back up and win tonight. Didn't really expect you to win last night. It would have shocked me if you won last night, but hey.
All right, Red, wrap it up, man. You going into more commentary about the Hawks. No, that's away from your dope moment.
All right, well, I guess I'm done.
All right.
Excellent. Absolutely excellent.
Coach, what are you doping on, man?
I'm doping on one Olivia Miles for Notre Dame. Not Notre Dame. I'm sorry, TCU. Forgive me. She used to play with Notre Dame. Who had a triple-double in her first NCAA game for TCU. And I think she's the first player to have 2 triple-doubles for 2 different teams. Which makes her just, her status is big time. So, Olivia Miles, you get the dope moment of the week.
Oh, yeah.
Since I am an HBCU graduate, let me dope on these HBCUs who won some NCAA tournament games. Big ups to Howard winning their play-in game, and also Prairie View winning their play-in game. And also on the girls' side, Southern, my daughter's alma mater, winning their game. I'm sure they're going to get blasted today by South Carolina, but nevertheless, we got to give the HBCU some props, and we're seeing the value of those play-in games for HBCUs because they stated that when Howard won their play-in game, they got the MEAC $2 million. So if that's what play-in games could do for HBCUs and they win it, let them continue to be placed in the play-in game so they could get a chance to make some more money for their HBCU conferences. So big ups to Howard, Prairie View, as well as Southern University on the women's side. All right, Coach, we're going to your note. What are you noping?
Make sure, Red, when you say they got that money, you put your finger at your mouth. $2 million and support them. My note moment goes to Aiden Holloway for Alabama. Now, not only did you have drugs at your house, now they have a drug transactions found that you made on your phone with said drugs. So, Mr. Holloway, congratulations. You have just decided to ruin your promising career for drugs. Get in line, and we'll see you at the Iron Bar Hotel soon somewhere.
You have got to be kidding.
Now, just be specific, it's marijuana, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and he had an unprecedented amount of marijuana.
2
And
pounds.
makes me, yeah, that's a whole lot. Even though in some states marijuana is now legal, but the thing I'm questioning is if he was on a nil deal or not.
Yeah.
If he had nil and selling pot, he's stupid. If he had a nil deal and selling pot, he's stupid. You know, that there's no need. Like that may have needed to be done back in the day. But now with these dudes making money, there's no excuse for that kind of stuff. He just got to be a weed head at the end of the day.
He says it's for personal use.
Yeah. All right. God bless him with that argument in Alabama. Let's be clear. That's in Alabama.
And
One
you a
of
black
the, in
man.
quotes, Bible Belt states. That ain't gonna work. I got a nope on the guy that they call Captain America in the World Classic, and that would be one Aaron Judge. There was nothing Captain American-ish for Aaron Judge when time after time he did nothing to impact anything with the World Baseball Classic for the United States of America, and that's partly the reason why they're coming home with a silver medal when they stacked this team to be in place to get a gold medal. So maybe he might be Captain America for the New York Yankees, but surely he didn't show up and show out and be that for the American team in the World Baseball Classic. So got a nope on you, Mr. Aaron Judge, in quotes, Captain America. Red, what are you noping on?
Captain America, more like Captain Non-Crunch, because he ain't even available in crunch time. So, I'm starting to see why the Yankees ain't won a ring in a while. But Aaron Judge, that was awful. But we'll get into it. My note moment goes to another sorry old team, just like Team USA.
Go ahead, Red.
Oh, okay. Another star team like Team USA. I'm going with Team UGA, and that's Team UGA basketball. You are definitely my note moment of the week, of the month, of the whole basketball year. How could you do this to me after I'm riding with you all year long? And you had a good regular season, decent anyway, had a good regular season record. Of course, your SEC record was a little shaky, but man, I thought you would figure something out come the SEC tournament. Definitely the NCAA tournament. Nope. Had your 2 worst losses of the year under the biggest lights of the year. Mike White, dude, you are not impressive to me. I mean, you put together this team, the run and gun, with top 5 offense during the year, led the nation in blocks, and you can't do anything come playoff time. Nothing in the SEC tournament, nothing in the NCAA tournament. You a complete joke. Got the country laughing at you. Didn't show up at all versus St. Louis. Just jacking up threes all night long. Live by the 3, die by the 3. Live by the joke, die by the joke, Mike White. And that's what you are right now. A joke coach for my UGA basketball. God, I'm so disappointed in him. Nope.
Now, I watched a little of that game, and before that game started watching me because it was a late game. And once I saw that St. Louis went out to an 8-2 lead, and I was looking at the style of play, I said, Georgia's about to get killed. And then St. Louis got their version of Jokic, and he was just dominating Georgia. Now, let me ask you this, Red, before we go to the coat moments. Does Mike White get any credit for at least getting Georgia back to the dance, even though they're not making any noise in the dance? Because prior to Mike White, they weren't really sniffing the dance, but they are at least getting into the dance, and they are somewhat relevant than they were at any time under Tom Crean.
I don't know, man. I don't think so. Because I mean, just getting to the dance these days, you got to do something. Is getting to the dance good enough for some of these other programs? And to me, UGA should be a top sports program in the country. I mean, you're good in football, you're good in baseball, your women's team is good. Why you can't be good? Why can't you be good in basketball when you can be solid in some of these other sports? If basketball on men's basketball is the only sport you can't figure out, Georgia. You can't figure out how to win one tournament game. I can't even remember when the last tournament game we won. Because I don't think we won one with Anthony Edwards. I think we lost that first game too.
Well,
So,
no, that was Anthony Edwards was the COVID year where they didn't have.
okay.
And they were on the verge of not even making it.
Right. I remember because we were choking down the stretch with that one. So, like I said, I just don't know what is it going to take to get UGA basketball right. But right now, I'm going to say no because, like you say, it's teams like that's winning tournament games that shouldn't even be winning. You mean we can't get at least the first game? I mean, we were favored in this game. St. Louis, I just knew we were going to win this one and probably lose to like Michigan or something. We couldn't even get past this particular mid-major right here. This is disappointing, especially when you had the season that we have. You one of the top scoring teams in the country. And what did we put up? 72 points? We were averaging like 90 the whole year.
Red, I'm gonna tell you, the reason you lost, and it's not the thing about it is you ran into the man known only as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Larry Nerd. You ran into Robbie Avila for St. Louis, that big time player who got those nicknames, who is terrorizing everybody.
He's out of shape, but that dude can play some basketball.
Yes, sir.
Here's the question I got to ask though about him. I need to know how old he is before we praise him. That's what I need to know first. Because every time I look at him, I'm like, this dude can't be 19, 20, 21, or 22. If he is within that age range, then I'll give him a lot of props.
22.
Nowadays, I can't give you props if you're 25 and 26 dominating NCAA basketball or football. I can't do it.
Rev, 22.
Yeah. He just made it where I give him a little credit. But I need you. I need him to go to the NBA next year. I don't need him to stick around. No more, man. You too old for that, man. Declare for the draft. Declare for the draft. All right, man. Let's get to this Coke moment real quickly. Coach, did you give your note moment?
Yeah.
Okay. I got a Coke with Herb Sendek and Santa Clara. That was a tough way to lose that game on yesterday, as Santa Clara thought that they hit the game-winning three-point shot with about 7 seconds left in the game. And then Kentucky came back and had a player bank one off the backboard right a few steps in front of the half-court line on the Kentucky side to send the game into overtime. And the additional reason why I got a Coke is because if you look at the replay, Herb Sendek tried to call a timeout, and they didn't grant him the timeout. Now, granted, I don't know if he did it before Kentucky inbounded the basketball or not. His players were in a frenzy. His sideline was in a frenzy. He was the only one trying to call a timeout, because if he was granted that timeout, then I'm sure they would not have allowed Kentucky to attempt a three-point shot, and there would have been a good chance that they would have won the game in regulation. But it didn't happen that way, and I'm sure he could not sleep last night because he wasn't granted the timeout, and also because of how the player, I guess his name was Owe or something of that nature, hit that basket to send the game into overtime, and then Kentucky pulled away in overtime. So that was definitely March Madness at its finest, and I'm coping for Herb Sendek.
Rev, I would have quit.
I love it. I love it. That was a good game.
I would have quit that game. I could have never coached that overtime because that is one of the most heartbreaking series in a short period of time in NCAA history. I don't think he got I saw the game. I don't think he got it off, and they saw him. I don't think he was able to get it off.
I think the referees were just trying to dictate the game in the final seconds. And the thing was, I don't think he should have run to the official on the baseline where Kentucky was taking the ball out.
Right.
Because you're supposed to stand next to him, right next to him. If you stand right next to him.
Well, he wasn't going to stand next to him because what happened was he's at his normal coaching position at the head of the bench, which is closer to the scorer's table. Him trying to call that timeout to that official who's trying to sprint back to the other side was where he failed. As soon as that ball went through the net, he should have been running down to the baseline official who has to count the 5 seconds when Kentucky takes the ball, and he should have been in their face saying, timeout, timeout, timeout. But he's running up the sideline where the scorer's table is, trying to get the official to recognize the timeout, who's sprinting back to get on the other side of the court.
Crazy. He ain't gonna see you. You better go to the closest one or the one that's actually looking at you. You can't get the attention of the guy running up the court because he ain't gonna see you. He ain't paying attention. Like you say, you better talk. That's what I'm saying. If it was a change, you knew you were gonna want that timeout. I'm going to the closest guy that's standing still, not the guy running back up the court. You right. He ain't gonna hear you. So yeah, you got to be right in position because it's gonna be. It was quick, just like that. Because remember, they didn't take no timeouts when they hit they shot. They went right down the court. Remember, it was tied up at 7. They went right down the court, hit they shot. Kentucky grabbed the ball, went right back down the court. So I'm saying, if you knew you was gonna want a timeout when y'all hit your shot, which is what you wanted it after they hit they shot and was up 73. When they went up 73-70, that's when you should have been right in that referee face. That was.
That's kind of a judgment thing because you didn't know your shot was going in. That's a whole lot happening in
no, but you got to be prepared, though. I'm saying because if you ain't prepared, like Rev say, the other guy, they grab the ball and start running, he gonna be running back up the court. So I mean, I know it's a lot happening and all that time, but coach, if you want the timeout, because personally, I didn't even know he tried to call timeout. I thought he just said let him play. It looked like both coaches were just like, let them play.
Look at it, though. In reality, show that play 9 out of 10 times, and 9 out of 10 times Kentucky misses that shot.
Oh, for sure.
And that's why he probably didn't trip on the time because he probably didn't think, man, no way that kid man. I was shocked that Uwe made that shot. He just added his draft stock just went up a few notches with that shot. And I mean, him dropping 30 points in tournament game, and he's been one of their main cards.
Yeah, he had some unprecedented numbers. I think he broke a record or tied a record with somebody prominent. I can't remember. But he had a heck of a day.
His draft stock just went up a few spots. So
for sure.
Good job, Uwe, for helping yourself out. That shot, I mean, in the season you had at Kentucky, you just made yourself some money, kid. Good luck to you. But yeah.
All right, Coach. What you know coping with?
Do either one of you know Sky Clark for UCLA?
I only know him by way of NBA 2K.
Okay. No, you don't know Sky Clark. Sky Clark is playing in the tournament.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Because I know
somebody had created him.
Well, they know Sky Clark now because he got his tooth knocked out in the middle of the game. The playoff game, and he tried to he kept playing. He said, I know I'm talking with a lisp now. He says, I got to hurry up and find a doctor somewhere, oral doctor. I said, yeah, you really do. And he's looking for a doctor. He said, well, the good thing about it is I can put my tooth under my pillow and hopefully by tomorrow, I'll get some money and another tooth tomorrow. So I'm coping with him. Bless his heart. They just showed her a few minutes ago. Good Lord. Ooh, he got smacked in.
Well, those kind of injuries are tough, man, because I remember when I played for Morehouse my freshman year, We were playing Morris Brown, and I got elbow in my forehead. And during the game, I had to get 10 stitches. So I still have that scar on my forehead. And I remember, man, one of my teammates who was an artist, he clowned me drawing a picture with me looking like Scarface with all the scars and stitches. So I know how that makes you feel insecure, that kind of stuff. Like, I'm sure he was probably the butt of a lot of jokes with his tooth. The good news is that he's at UCLA and they're going to make sure that his tooth is straight. So that's the good news.
And the bad part, it wasn't a whole tooth. It was half a tooth.
Yes, yeah. That's how that stuff typically takes place. He got one of those hockey injuries, unfortunately.
Yeah, he looking like them guys on that commercial on Sock Doc.
Yeah.
But like on Yucko Kongu earlier this year.
Yeah. All right, Red, close this segment out with what are you coping on or with?
All right. What am I coping with? Well, what am I coping with? Well, not me, but Malik Willis. You're gonna have to cope with. You just signed a bag to go to Miami, and you ain't got no weapons down there, man. All your receivers don't left you, man. No Tyreek Hill, no Waddle. I'm surprised A-Chain ain't asking for a trade out, but Willis, you're gonna have to cope with the Dolphins of starting over, and I mean really starting over. I hope you didn't pick the wrong team to cash in with. Would prefer you in Atlanta, but I kind of understand why you went to where Miami. But good luck, man, because they starting with an empty cupboard. So Malik, it's gonna be on you to make the plays early on. So I hope you're ready for it. But anyway, that's what you got to look forward to down in Miami. Malik
They showed his receivers red.
Oh, they did.
Drewski, Urkel. There's a couple more guys. I'm like, oh my God. They had a picture of him said, he in trouble.
Why did I know? I should know Drewski was gonna make a get name drop in this, man. Thankfully, I ain't seen him lately since that NBA celebrity game. No, was he there? I forgot when the last time I seen him, but I ain't seen him in a while, thankfully, coach. Last time you went off on him.
All right, let's get Revanite's no doping copes in. They got quite a few going on. So we'll start with the VP doping on the new WNBA CBA agreement, period. Progress, ladies, progress. Joe Black doping on Purdue's Braden Smith becoming the all-time assist leader. Joe Black noping on Aiden Holloway of Alabama getting charged with felony selling weed. The president is doping on LBJ will eventually break the record for most NBA games played. I haven't seen that many games played for such a long time since the creation of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. The VP said, I was at that Southern Sanford game today. We're looking forward to having the band there. I know that's right. That's going to be the best pep band South Carolina will see on their quest to try to win another championship. Joe Black coping with Tuskegee coach Benny Taylor suing Morehouse. We're going to talk about that in just a second because I think the president made a comment about that. The president said nope to the choke Carolina Tar Heels. Tell coach bye-bye. He out of there.
We'll talk about it.
All right, the VP said Holloway is epitome of can't get right. Joe Black said Holloway was lucky he was only at 2.1 pounds. Had he been at 2.2, that would have been trafficking. That's information.
Yeah.
Thanks for showing that, Joe.
Yeah. That probably was going to save him right there.
The VP said reportedly Holloway had a nil evaluation of $268K. I guess that wasn't enough money.
This kid, they're going to make examples out of this kid too, man. I can't believe it.
Aaron Judge wasn't even captain Luxembourg. Joe Black said it wasn't 260, it was 286. All right, one of y'all right, but we know it was over 250 grand. So we'll go with that.
He don't need to be selling weed, making money
Not
like
at
that.
all. Not at all. Not at all.
As a kid making that money, man, can you imagine? I was living in California when I was a young 21 years old. If I was making that money right there, real, I probably would have moved on back. I was saying, I got the money. What am I here for? To go on back home, buy me a house or something. I sure would have bought one out there.
And the thing is, they're making the money plus, unless they've changed the rules, they're still getting their bills paid. They're still getting fed. They still get lodging, unless they choose to use their lodging with their NIL money. But there's no need for it. Like
free, everything's free.
Yeah, back in the day, you could understand why some folk might engage in that, even though it wasn't right. But there's no excuse, man. No excuse. The VP said Captain Hook has more cachet than A. Aaron.
Captain Hook.
The president said, Cope, dear Georgia Bulldogs, you lost to team with a gangly white guy in glasses, dubbed with nicknames such as Milk Chamberlain and Shaquille O'Neal.
He got some names,
man. I thought y'all was just making up these nicknames.
Oh, no.
He got some names.
No, before the game started, before even many people knew who he was, they had a whole list of his nicknames before the game. Yeah, these are real. These are legit nicknames. They had one where they gave him a name close to Jokic. I mean, that dude had a lot of nicknames. So, and he lived up to every last one of them. He lived up to every last one of them. The VP coping with the moron fans trying to say BYU wasted their money on AJ DeBonsta, bruh. Scored 35 and 10. Cougars lost by 8. Money well spent. His teammates forgot to show up. I'm going to say money well spent from the standpoint of he did produce, as well as he gave BYU more national attention than it's ever had. So from a basketball perspective, so from that point alone, that was money well spent, even though if anybody thought that BYU was going to make some real noise with just adding AJ DeBonsta, they had another thing coming. So they just paid all that money more so for exposure, since he was one of the top high school players in the nation.
That's what I figured, man. I don't know why they did that. They should let that kid go somewhere else, because you're right. He was all they had, really.
Right, exactly. And then that big boy Cater, but he didn't live up to anything. The VP said Reverend Dr. George Echols just entered the chat. The VP says Santa Clara submitted their place in March Madness. That coach feels sick today for sure. The president said he's coping. I started my collegiate career at Tuskegee, and of course, Morehouse is our number one rival. What happened at the basketball game between the two teams with the Tuskegee coach getting arrested should not have happened. Now that Coach Taylor has filed a lawsuit, I hope that it doesn't sour the sports relationship between the schools. And that's definitely unfortunate. I had a chance to read up about it, and it looks like Morehouse going to give up some money. That's the reality of the matter.
Why did he get arrested?
There was something that broke out. There was some back and forth between him and the football players that sit behind the goal. So at Morehouse's gym, and eventually the security team, I don't think they were Morehouse police, but they had additional security team there, and he got arrested. So they're going to have to pay some money, because at the end of the day, if he was found not doing anything of that warrant him getting arrested, that tarnishes his name. That could affect him from being able to go to other jobs, because he'll be remembered as the coach that got arrested at Morehouse College. So that's bad publicity in itself. So he's going to have to pay. I mean, Morehouse might have to pay for some pain and suffering. Hopefully, Morehouse will take the high road, try to settle out of court, give him a nice settlement, and let bygones be bygones. And hopefully that doesn't mess up Tuskegee's and Morehouse relationship, because outside of Clark, Tuskegee and Morehouse, for Morehouse, that's their biggest rival is Tuskegee outside of Clark. So hopefully nothing is messed up with that. The last
Man.
comment, the president is coping with parents giving their kids questionable names. University of Alabama basketball player, $1 million.
Oh my God, man, come
Oh,
on. You
Oh,
knew what your last name was. Why would you do that to that kid?
yeah, for sure. For sure.
That should have been like something like fresh bugs or something that ain't gonna make the bugs last name sound too bad.
Too
But man,
bad,
just
yeah.
change your last name, man. Say we're gonna change our last name.
Yeah, $1 million. That kid been the brunt of a lot of jokes throughout his life.
and still come.
Ah, real, could you imagine the Maze High with a name
Oh,
like
God.
that, man? Oh,
They
well,
would
man, Bo would have been killing him every day, man.
every
I know
day.
I would have came up with something. I
I
was
bet
saying,
you,
man,
I
let me
bet
go
you
get my.
go ahead.
I was saying, man, let me go get my rage spray. Bug, you better get out of here, man. I got my rage spray today or something. You know, folks would have been tagging him every day with something.
I bet you his science teachers might have got him a couple of times.
Oh,
When they
well, I don't know. Not them little not them nerdy science teachers at Maze. Who the world they talk about somebody?
nah, they would have probably got him with some science humor, especially when they
Oh,
were doing section on
Please
insects.
provide the history of your million bugs or something like
$1
that.
million. Yeah.
I know Mr. Sanders couldn't talk about them. It would have been funny though.
For sure.
Maybe
All right, let's
Dr.
jump.
Berry or Miss
Oh,
Arnold with some sideline humor.
I know what got him, Miss Armour. Used to be Miss
Yeah.
Coble. She was my
Right.
home teacher. NFL signing. Let's jump into it. So
okay.
NFL free agency is alive and well. I want you all to think about the most impactful signings from you all's judgment. And then if you have any questionable signings, lift up those questionable signings. So I'll start with Coach on this one. Coach, what signings did you see that were impactful or even questionable or both? What you got?
The Raiders signing those guys that they signed for the defense, they really improved their defense overall. With they signed a kid out of from the Packers, and well, on the interesting side, they got Crosby back, and that I use my favorite word, debacle, with him in Baltimore. So the Raiders are positioning themselves. They're not gonna win the Super Bowl, but they're gonna make some noise. They're not gonna be that necessarily a bottom feeder in the AFC West because their defense is much improved this year. And then if Mendoza lives up to what he is projected to be, and they get a competent guy behind him, they're gonna be improved. Justin Fields to the Chiefs is kind of underrated. People are not really talking about that one a lot. They're talking about it, but they're not saying, well, Justin Fields, he ain't gonna do anything. Let Andy Reid get a hold of him for this off season and do what he does until Pat Mahomes come back and run an offense that's tutored for Justin Fields, where he can run and move around. That's a quietly dangerous Chiefs team with Justin Fields until Mahomes come back. They're not just gonna be floating in the wind. Justin Fields is just a backup, just to hang on. I think they're gonna be improved.
So you saying Kansas City's going to be improved because of the signing of Justin Fields?
I think he's gonna keep them in contention until Mahomes comes back. I really do. I think Fields is a stable organization, and Andy Reid has been known to work with. He can work with quarterback. Then he got Bieniemy is back, the offensive coordinator. So they said the big offensive coordinator. So, and Reed. You got what's the name behind him to help out? What's the running back? The running back from Seattle to help out.
Okay, I thought you were going to lead with that, Coach. I thought that's where I thought, I thought you were going to lead with Kenneth Walker.
I was getting to that.
All right, because when you lead it with Justin Fields, I'm like, I don't know if that's the move, but Kenneth Walker, Kenneth Walker being signing, who was the MVP in the Super Bowl, that was a huge signing for the Kansas City Chiefs. So I can see where you're going with that one. When you start out with Justin Fields, like he's just a placeholder to Mahomes gets well.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Like I said, Kansas City is gonna keep a lot of teams on their toes, and people thought the demise was coming, but not this year. All right.
Well, let's just get clear real quickly. They didn't sign Justin Fields; they traded for him. They traded
for him. Yes.
Yeah. Fields will learn from a real coach. Joe Black says the Rams signing Jalen Watson after trading for McDuffie is great, and the Giants signing likely. All right. Red, I was just about to come to you, but you stepped away for a second. What do you have to say about what your Steelers did, Coach? Or have done?
I love Michael Pittman. Pittman ain't no flashy, big time. Everybody talk about him. He just one of those solid guys that contributes every game. So that's going to help take the pressure off DK Metcalf. And I know they're going to get another wide out in the draft to play the slot. And they once again, they lost a couple of guys in the secondary, and they filled those positions already. So once again, Rev, the big question that hangs over their head, Aaron Rodgers, what are you going to do? What are we going to do? You got to make up your mind. All that. That's the big thing that hangs over their head, and it's going to hang over their head until he either leaves or something else happens. They're going to keep hanging that over their head.
Well, I think the thing that the Steelers have to do is make a decision in what direction they plan on going. So they made it, they allowed themselves to engage in this drama again because they did not sign anybody in free agency.
Yeah.
Once again, they're not in position to get really anyone of any main significance in the draft because of where they're drafted. And the QB field in the draft is not that deep. So because of those two factors is why the Rodgers soap opera is going to be aired again this summer.
Yep. Coming to a theater near you.
Yeah, because the Steelers have to make sure that they decide either with this new regime, we're going to take a year off, where we're not going to be relevant, or we're going to keep the Mike Tomlin train going, where we're going to be competitive enough to make the playoffs but not be a Super Bowl contender. And that's where, the Steelers ultimately going to have to draw the line and see where they're going to be.
Yep.
Joe Black said, I think the Colts overpaid for both Pierce and Jones. I would definitely agree with Daniel Jones, especially with him coming off.
Yes, sir. They gave him too much money. Are you absolutely kidding me? Daniel Jones, who has done nothing of significance in the NFL, and you going to throw a whole Brinks truck at him? You got to be kidding me.
He just got paid for having a good 8 to 10 week run. That's basically what he got paid for. And I would have taken into the equation, if I'm the coach, the fact that he did get hurt, and before he got hurt, he was choking because he was healthy when the Colts their season started spiraling towards the end. So I don't know if I'm paying them that kind of money. Joe Black said, I'm still concerned with Tua. Hopefully the doctors at Emory have free times. Well, let's just say the Falcons just need to be prepared for this possibly being a down year because of the uncertainty at the quarterback position. And if that happens, the main thing that I would want if I'm a diehard Falcons fan is to have some type of certainty of where we're going with this quarterback position. Are we going to try to see if Tua can have a resurrection of his career? Is Michael Penix going to ever be healthy enough to be a good quarterback? Or will we be terrible enough and say the Michael Penix experiment is over? So now I'm going to go in the draft next year and draft a quarterback. Joe Black said, hold on right quick, Coach. He said, Joe Black said, we had 9 straight down years. I agree, and I predicted it. That's why I'm now an emotionless Falcons fan. And you got those 9 straight down years because folk didn't want to listen to the sports rep. I remember yelling and screaming on Facebook. I was screaming on the sports show, The Crush, that's hosted by Emmanuel Glaze and Maceo Hurd when they had us live, that the Falcons should not re-sign Matt Ryan and that 9-year to that kind of money, making him the highest paid football player at the time. And that 9-year straight run has happened once the Falcons signed that man to that money, and he's seen them be so terrible that this dude done got a new job within the organization since they've been trash. And he got the highest position. So now the guy who made you trash is responsible to help you not be trash anymore.
Yeah, Rev, 2 things. One, dealing with that. One dealing with that, and one, you sounded right then just like my daddy, God rest his soul. He used to always sing this song. I remember in the old days when things just stayed the same. He used to sing that song all the time. And that's what it sounds like with the Falcons. Things are the same. And number 2, I'm going to ask you this question. Are the Broncos going to be very dangerous with Jalen Waddle? Because remember, they were like one quarterback away from going to the Super Bowl.
So I will say dangerous for sure. Very dangerous. I would stay away from adding that to the dangerous. All because I'm not completely certain about Bo Nix. That's my biggest question. Bo Nix's accuracy. Now there's a question about his stability, availability, because we got to remember he's no spring chicken. He was in college football for 6 years, at least.
6.
So he's up there in age. So we can't treat him like a young quarterback. You know, so
nope.
It's going to be interesting. But I think that's a great trade. I think getting Waddle and only giving up a first-round draft pick with Denver being loaded with young talent where they don't really need to add a draft pick because their defense is pretty set. Their offense needed another receiver. Waddle is one that can open the defense up with this being a deep threat. So I think that was a great move. The question for me for Denver is the quarterback position. we've seen enough as Georgia fans not to trust Bo Nix. Granted, Bo Nix got a QB whisperer in Sean Payton, who's a known commodity. He was the primary reason for Drew Brees being a Hall of Famer. So we don't know if he can work the same magic with Bo Nix, but that's why I would have to stay away from just saying very dangerous because of my question marks with Bo Nix. Red, I'm coming to you in just a second. Bo Nix fluctuates between Auburn Bo Nix and Oregon Bo Nix. You never know who you're going to get. That's so true. That is so true. Great observation. Red, let's go to your observations about free agencies, those impactful moves from your perspective, those questionable moves from your perspective. What you got?
I don't have too many. Like I say, it was kind of, to me, it was a slow free agent period. Questionable moves, all of them really. I mean, the Falcons signing Tua, the Dolphins signing Malik, Bradley Chubb going to the Bills for 3 years, Jalen. Like I say, none of these moves really just excite me. I'm trying to think, it may be something I'm forgetting about, but the one I was gonna mention, well, those are the questionable ones. Now Kyler Murray might have an impact in Minnesota. I don't, and coach took a little of my thunder when he was wasting time talking about Justin Fields. I was gonna mention Kenneth Walker with the Chiefs. But like I say, those two right there probably might be my most impactful moves. Kenneth Walker and Kyler Murray to the Vikings and Kenneth Walker to the Chiefs. Falcons ain't done anything that much besides making a lot of bargain moves. I mean, maybe these guys will help us out. Maybe they won't. I ain't going around telling nobody they just for sure guaranteed gonna help us out because I really don't know. I don't know what Ian Cunningham is doing. He made a trade yesterday for some clown in Philly. Who knows how it's gonna work out? We'll see. I'm not guaranteeing anybody anything. My thing about the Falcons is we'll see because I just don't know, and honestly, I don't want to know. We'll see. Like I say, Gino going back to the Jets. I ain't even worry about that. That ain't gonna do that. Like I say, Red, this free agency period was just mid to me, man. Just real mid. Not too many big time players available. And honestly, that's again what free agency period is about to be about in the NFL because most of the good to great players, they ain't gonna let you become a free. I doubt. I'm trying to think when was the last great impactful free agent. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Because most of the good players, they're gonna lock you up before you even get to free agency. And either lock you up or trade you. So I mean, not too many impactful players gonna ever really make it to free agency. And if they make it there, it's either because they got cut or they ain't got it no more. So like you say, Kyler Murray going to the Vikings, he's still young, he can help them out. Your boy coming over to the Chiefs from Seattle, he can help you out. Mike Evans going to the 49ers. Mike Evans might getting kind of old personally. I think First should just stayed in town. Tampa Bay, he been there forever. Why you gonna leave? You already won a ring. You ain't winning nothing in San Francisco. You'll put up some numbers, but when it all come down to it, Kyle Shanahan will be Kyle Shanahan. You're not winning anything more than San Francisco, Mike. You probably should have just stayed in Tampa Bay. Now I do like the Waddle with the Broncos. That'll help the offense out. But like you say, you playing Forrest Gump games with Bo Nix. You never know what you're gonna get. So hey, it is what it is. But Falcon signing Tua, Rev, I'm more interested in what you think about that.
To be honest, I think it's just a stopgap option. It makes a whole lot of sense because it doesn't come at a premium cost. The Miami Dolphins have to take care of most of the dollars because they cut him. So the Falcons are getting him on a penny on a dollar. You know what I'm saying? So when you don't have your quarterback ready to go, you don't know what his status is. You're faced with.
I'm getting so sick of folks talking. I'm getting so sick of him running his mouth, telling us how ready he gonna be. Stop talking, Penix. And I'm so sick of these gullible Falcon fans sitting up here believing them and talking about we got a quarterback of the future. We don't have no quarterback of the future. We don't have anything. We don't know what we got at the quarterback position. So it's kind of hard. And you got fans getting so excited with these Falcon moves. How am I supposed to get excited with any move the Falcons do when I don't even know who my quarterback is? I don't know what my quarterback is or what he gonna do. So it's kind of hard. The Falcons, you can bring anybody you want in. If your quarterback, if you ain't got no quarterback, it's all a waste of time.
Yeah. Go ahead, Coach.
So, Red, you said it was no impactful free agent signings?
Few of them.
Trey Hendrickson to the Ravens wasn't big?
Keep talking. I got to go right quick. Keep talking.
Oh, okay.
That wasn't big?
I don't know, Coach. You think it was big? Are you worried about that move to the Ravens?
I mean, the man was
I didn't think you were worried about Trey Hendrickson.
In the top 3 in sacks for the last 3 years. He had 10 plus sacks for the past 3 years to help their defense.
Last year,
the year before that too. And then you got the Rams helping their secondary. They were a step away from the Super Bowl, and the Rams just got both the Chiefs' second cornerbacks to help their secondary. That could put them in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, Trent McDuffie. That was a nice move.
And then you got a lot of linemen moving.
Well, let me go back to what y'all talking about. Excuse me, I had to go off for a quick second. The Hendrickson move is a big move, in my opinion. Here's why. They countered the debacle that happened with the Max Crosby trade with that signing rather. So they obviously put Hendrickson on the same level as Max Crosby. And Max Crosby is a dude in the NFL. Nobody can deny that. That's why initially the Ravens gave away 2 first-round draft picks, and that's a hefty price to get somebody of that nature. So the Hendrickson sign, I would like to say, is a big-time move. I'm sure Coach looked at that move a lot closer since that is in his division with his Pittsburgh Steelers, and know that, that's going to be somebody who's going to be trying to sack his quarterback in Pittsburgh. So I would have to say the Hendrickson move was a big move, particularly for influence in that division. And that division is tough. Now, do I think that move makes the Ravens a Super Bowl, the Super Bowl favorite? Possibly not. Do I think it makes them a Super Bowl contender? Of course.
Okay. Nah, I didn't think it was that big, but we'll see. I was thinking Trey Hendrickson lost a step. That's why I didn't even bring it up. So we'll see.
All right.
The Ravens didn't overpay. And I'm just surprised they valued him over Crocker. It's like he had a $40 million asking price, and as soon as he came down to $30 million, they just said, Crosby, you ain't nothing but chopped liver, and moved on for him and went back to Hendrickson. I'm like, so you really value Hendrickson that much over Crosby? Wow.
I think they more value somebody who's healthy right now. Rather than
but that's the thing. He had his own health problems in Cincinnati. So
he's healthy now. He's healthy now.
Right. I know Crosby just had surgery. So
yeah, just had I'd rather deal with the healthy guy. And Crosby, you don't know how he's gonna bounce back, from his injury.
But that Ravens GM DeCosta, man, he looked real bad in all this. I'm just saying he's taking a couple of hits from this whole entire fiasco. And Ozzie Newsome, man, this is not the guy you want following you. I wouldn't be surprised if the Ravens just up and fired this guy soon. Let's just say I would not be surprised. So DeCosta, dude, keep your resume fresh because your reputation is so far from Ozzie Newsome right now, man. And then you up at the press conference like you want to cry, shedding tears over this, man, dude. Come on, you got to realize where you at. You are in Baltimore, dude. They front office is one of the best, and this fiasco you just did making, boy, they taking some hits, man. You might have to bring back that owner Steve Bisciotti out again and see what he think about this. We know he's a very opinionated guy, and I know he's watching. And God, though, I'll tell you, Rev, this ain't the guy you want following Ozzie Newsome. I put it like that.
I got you. So Joe Black asked the question of me. He said, Rev, you are up near Philly. How is this safety Atlanta traded for yesterday? He's talking about Sidney Brown, who basically the Falcons and the Eagles had pick swaps in the same rounds. And then, of course, the Falcons get Sidney Brown. Now, they say he's a great special teams player when he's healthy. A lot of the Eagles fans were not tripping about him getting traded because they said, one, he doesn't stay healthy. Two, he got cooked a lot, and he holds a lot and gets burned a lot. So
if you heard Winston yesterday, you would have thought this guy was going to be the next Steve Atwater. That's the way Winston was making him out.
Well, let me say this. Let me say this as a positive. Now, there are some Eagles fans, and this is from some of the fan chats I've read. There's some Eagles fans who felt he was underused. And so if for them saying he was underused, they may have seen some potentials as fans that the coaching staff did not see in this particular player. And I'm going to say this. Typically, you don't really focus on what fans have to say. But the Philadelphia Eagles fan base is very knowledgeable. They are probably one of the most knowledgeable fan bases in NFL football.
As opposed to ours.
Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure. So I would just say this is a 50-50 move from what I've been hearing. It could be a great move. It could be more of the same that he experienced in Philadelphia. So
now,
as coach would normally say, stay tuned.
Yep, it is.
Okay, do you think he could take Jesse Bates' place? If anything happened to Bates, you put him right in there and we'd be like, okay. That's the way Winston would make it.
Like, no, not Jesse Bates an all-pro. So you don't just replace.
No, we were saying. Winston act like if we traded Jason Bates, you can put this guy right up in there and we'd be okay. And I'm like,
now, I would say no informed Philadelphia Eagles fan would suggest that's what the Falcons should be seeking to do.
See, man, that's what I say. Falcon fans, just be patient and
what do they say? What do they say? Monitor your expectations. That's
right.
The best way. That's the best way.
I'm short a few weeks, man. I need some of those sayings now because I be forgetting a lot of. I monitor your expectations.
Monitor your expectations.
Oh, damn.
Joe Black said, also with the Minnesota signing both Wentz and Murray, does that end the JJ era up there? I don't say it officially ends it. I believe the era he's going to have to battle if the era is going to continue. So I think it's going to go one way or the other. Either he's going to show himself strong and win the quarterback position in a battle instead of it being given to him, which they tried to do and they saw that didn't work, or Kyler Murray is going to be the starting quarterback, and then they'll probably be looking to trade JJ in the near future.
Yep.
JJ, don't go looking for houses in Minnesota, okay? That's all I'm gonna say. Stay with the apartment and keep renting, because you ain't gonna be there much longer. You think Justin Jefferson gonna sign off on JJ when you got Kyler Murray? I bet Justin Jefferson say, man, I could probably get something from Carson Wentz before this clown. Man, his numbers were awful last year playing with JJ McCarthy, and I know Kyler Murray can get them numbers back where they supposed to be. And Wentz, I ain't saying he all that, but he way more solid than JJ.
Yeah, for sure. for sure. And when you're playing it with a talented wide receiver like Jefferson,
Yep.
you got to have somebody who can throw the ball and has a track record of being able to hit top-notch receivers. So Kyler Murray is definitely the better choice from a eye test and a numbers test than J.J. McCarthy. Joe Black said, Red, we shopped at Plato's Closet, not Saks this offseason.
Yeah, that you ain't lying, man. No, let me tell you. Now, real, that's what I said last week, real. No, Nick Folk was good. We went to Foot Locker to get the pair of shoes, and we went back to Walmart to do the rest of our school shopping. Because, man, Nick Folk, by the only person I can say, yeah, that was good. But everybody else, like I say, just bargain basement shopping, real. That's all we were doing.
I think this is where the Falcons find themselves in trouble. And this is where they had to monitor their shopping spree to not be so lucrative. And the fact is, they got to pay Bijan coming up. They got to pay London, right? Then they got to make a final decision on Kyle Pitts at some point. So you got those three offensive weapons. They're not getting Drake London for cheap. Bijan gonna set the market for running backs. And Falcons fans are not gonna be cool with letting Bijan go because they're gonna automatically think Saquon Barkley. And what the Giants did with Saquon Barkley. Right?
Bijan not going. There's no way. Arthur Blank will sign off on that.
Yes. So the Falcons are gonna have to pay him. And he's gonna be the highest paid running back. That's just the bottom line. So I think the Falcons GM understood these things are coming down the pike. So there's no need, and you still got to decide who's going to be your quarterback. So
that's the most important decision.
Right. If you get a veteran, you're going to have to pay. If you get a rookie, that'll buy you some time, but you need a rookie who can play. So that's where it gets a little dicey for the Falcons. And to the Falcons' credit, which I don't say too much, they are actually looking towards the future rather than looking at the right now and how they've gone out in free agency because they're playing the long game rather than the short game. So that's why I give the Falcons some props on how they're managing this offseason.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, because when you bargain basement shopping, you definitely hold on to your money for something. See, next year, I think a lot of dead money come off the cap. Dead money that they responsible for, but it does come off the cap next year. So they'll have more cap space than just this year. So it's probably, like you said, it's probably wise to do the bargain basement shopping now and be ready to go splurge next season when you can really improve the team.
So Winston came back for you, Ray. Said, still shooting shots, I see. If you're going to tell something, tell the truth. I said Brown could facilitate a Bates trade because this season is a wash. Trade Bates while he has value or lose for nothing. Let me go on. Let me say this before you
start. Taking shots. I was telling you what you said. You did say he was the first one replacement.
Red, let me go on. Finish it up. What he said. Brown is a serviceable backup for a rebuild season. Trade Bates and get a second now. Take those 2 seconds and get Miller and Hurst. Team just got better for completely free.
What do you think about that?
I understand the logic. I think if you make that trade you're basically saying we plan on being terrible this year. That's the only way it makes sense. Like I understand his logic. Like you're basically saying we're going to start Brown instead of Bates because we're anticipating being terrible. The problem is I don't think your offense is that terrible.
All right.
Because you got so many weapons. Like, you may not have a top-notch quarterback, but think about they almost got into the playoffs with a injured old Cousins. assets, Kirk Cousins. So unless your offense is going to be devoid of assets, which is not, when you got Bijan, London, and Kyle Pitts, that type of thinking just doesn't flow because you're going to be decent. You're not going to, you don't have an offense that's going to be that should be 8 and 9. Your offense should
wasting seasons, man. Come on, hey, don't even worry about this season because we ain't gonna do that, man. Is that what Bijan in London and some of these other players think?
Nah. That's why I think they said, look at what we did with Kirk Cousins. Mm-hmm. We can at least do that, if not be a game or two better with Tua. That's in essence what they said. Yep. So that's why it made sense in the Falcons' eyes to go get Tua, because they said, if this is where we landed with an old Kirk Cousins, we can possibly win the division with at least a decent Tua. And now we got a coach who should be able to scheme up offense, at least that's what he was brought here for, in Kevin Stefanski. So with his coaching on the offensive side, which is better than Zach Robinson as an offensive coordinator, or should be, a Tua that should be better than Kirk Cousins, or Michael Penix who gets healthy that should be better than Kirk Cousins, we should at least be over 500.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm not going into this season saying this season might be a wash or let's look for what I'm saying. Every season I'm looking to do something. And we don't do it, yeah, that's what it is. But we already don't waste it. Bijan don't be here 3 years. We ain't made the playoffs at all. So it's already 3 seasons. We don't waste it on him in London. Now I'm looking forward to a 4th. So I'm not I don't know whatever Winston said. You have to go back and look on the eye test. Whatever he said, I'm saying. The fact is they drafted Sidney Brown, and I heard him say what could happen if we possibly trade Bates. Now I don't.
No, you talking about they traded for Sidney Brown?
Yeah, once they traded, I think Winston brought up on his show like what would happen if they possibly traded Bates, or he was just giving out the scenarios if they trade him. Personally, I don't want to trade him, Bates, but I don't want Winston out there thinking we taking shots at you, Winston. Don't get sensitive now. We not taking shots at you.
Here's what he said. Here's more he said. Moves like this is the difference between winning on the organization and the Falcons. Trading gets something for someone a year early instead of sitting on a player, and you have no chance of a Super Bowl this year. He goes on to say, Bates is on his last year and will be 30. We are not going to re-sign him unless he gets a contract this whole season. So either you let him walk for free and lose a comp pick cause we will have money, or now that is true in terms of what he said, and because he's actually looking at the Howie Roseman School of Thought. I don't know what coach is doing over there.
I'm sorry, I accidentally hit the button. It's on the thing.
Yeah. I think that is what Howie Roseman has been good for, because you'll see he let some guys go by way of free agents, right? He let Kobe Dean go. He let Blankenship go, and a player or two, and they are getting compensatory picks. Now, that's what the Falcons could get if they let Bates play out this year and then he walks in free agency. They can get a compensatory pick. If they want a higher pick, they trade him now. But the problem is, again, for me, is that the Falcons see themselves trying to compete. And you got to remember, the Falcons at this juncture are not trying to compete mainly for a Super Bowl. The first competition that they are seeking is to be relevant, to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
So that's where I would punch a hole in what Winston is saying, because he's thinking about Super Bowl. No. Let's scale down our expectations. Let's understand that because the Falcons haven't made the postseason in 9 years, Falcons fans want a playoff berth.
Yeah.
They want a division title. So let's start there before we start talking about Super Bowl, because it's hard to keep selling to this fan base hope if they're not keeping hope alive when they're seeing in real time the Panthers ascend above them. The Bucks have been above them. And now, because it looks like the Saints have found their quarterback, the Saints might be ascending above them. So it's going to be a hard sell to these Falcons fans. Let's give up this year completely. And be
That's
on
what
the
I'm saying.
bottom
You can't tell fans
barrel
to take the fans. Yeah.
when looking up to the Saints and Panthers. That's a hard sell right there.
Yeah, you
That's
can't
hard
tell.
sell.
It's hard to tell fans to take the fandom out of it. They fans. Most fans are going, that's why they have keeping up with the Falcons, because they fans. So it's hard to tell Falcon fans to take the fandom out of it. You know, a lot of us, we talk more than just Falcon sports. We talk national sports. But it's hard to tell a whole fan base when you just talking to Falcons and what they're going to do for the upcoming season. Okay, guys, take the fandom out of it and just look at it like this. No, ain't hard. Most of them aren't going to look at it like that, okay? They're going to talk as fans. They're going to think as fans. And like you say, it's going to be a hard sell to the fan base. Tell them just to forget about this season right here, because look forward to the big things we could possibly do in the next season. Knowing the Falcons, do you trust them to do the big things in the next season like some of these other smart programs? No. Show me you can do it now, because I don't trust you to do it in the next 2 big seasons. You better show me something right now. That's what a lot of these things.
And you need Jesse Bates to be relevant now. That's just the bottom line. You know, I get Winston's theory, and I don't think it's far.
Me too. I
think he just misplaced the context for what he desires versus where the Falcons actually are. And the bottom line is Falcons fans collectively don't want to hear about another season where they're not relevant and making the playoffs. That's the problem. Yeah. And then you had if you had Bijan in year 1 or year 2, Drake London in year 1 or 2, and they weren't the top or near the top at their positions, then that works. But the only way you really selling what you talk about, then you might as well not only start trading Bates, but you might as well start trading Bijan and Drake as well. And start from scratch.
Yeah, go ahead and get it. If we're going to get something for Bates or something for this guy, let's just trade them all and get everything for somebody. Now we'll start fresh. 2027.
As Denzel would say, tear it up. Tear it up and glow.
Tear it up. And we go into the 2027 season with 5-6 top draft picks, plenty of cap space, and we started from scratch. Yeah. Good.
Joe Black said, well, at least we'll be losing in new uniform.
Man, oh God! And here I gotta listen to this excitement for the new uniform. Man, we better win this season. Don't come talking to me. Ooh, let's get excited for new uniforms. Oh, let's remember, we ain't gonna do nothing this season. No, all that don't work. People are expecting us to win. At least win, be competitive for this NFC South this year. So whatever the bargain basement moves we made, whatever the trades that are made, Falcons gonna have to win this season. And you don't have to win next season. I'm sorry, you don't win 8, 9 seasons without the playoffs. You got to win, and you got to win now.
All right, so we're gonna give these 2 last comments from Jerome Case and Winston. Then we're gonna go into halftime. Winston said, "Get value for him now, or we could just draft a safety. You could actually run with Watts for years to come. We will have more money to spend, so we will bring in a bigger free agent next year, so we lose a comp." He goes on to say, I'm not thinking Super Bowl. I'm thinking team building, period. You lose a comp pick if you bring in a bigger contract than what your free agent going to sign for. With 157 million next year, we will lose that comp. He walks for free. All right. So Jerome, I'm sorry, says the Falcons front office is always falconing. The term is used by Atlanta Falcons fans to describe the team's tendency for disappointing performances, often involving blowing significant leads or consistently losing crucial games. He says no one is paying for a PL sale today in the hope of a playoff win in a 2028 or a Super Bowl in 2030.
And that's what it said. I think.
One more thing, Red. Hold on before you go. We said John Harris says, one thing you never know when you're going to get to the Super Bowl. All right, go ahead, Red.
Yeah, I agree with John. That's one they were saying. They were saying like a lot of people were thinking the Falcons are trying to set themselves up to make a Super Bowl run when the Falcons are going to be in the Super Bowl in 2028, I think.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a good. I mean, I can understand the thinking, but one more time, all this stuff ain't guaranteed. I'm trying to win every season, not set myself up so I can have this one magical season, and then when the one magical season get here, that's when everything will go wrong for you. This guy get hurt, that guy go down, all crazy. That's what I'm saying. Try to win every season. So no matter whether the Super Bowl in your backyard or not, you trying to win every season. Not just, set things up to make one special run when you think the Super Bowl gonna be in Atlanta.
Well, I'm gonna say this as we close this argument or discussion. The Falcons right now are in a holding pattern until they can determine what they're doing at quarterback.
I agree.
So like when we start talking about 2028, 2030, that's all up in the air because you don't know what you're doing at quarterback. What you do know right now is that at least we can compete for a division title with the talent that we have right now. That's what you do know right now because you wound up tying with the same record with the team that ultimately won the division, which happened to be the Panthers.
Yeah.
And
we were tied for the division.
You were tied. You wound up being tied for the division. So with that understanding, you're saying at least we can compete for the division, which is something that you have not won in years because you haven't been to the playoffs. So I think you can sell that to the fan base in this particular season. After this season, you got to sell to the fan base that you know what you're doing at quarterback. I think the Falcons fans as a whole will give you a pass on not knowing the quarterback situation right now because of Michael Penix's injury, where many Falcons fans were content with him being your starting quarterback going into last season. Now that his injury history continues to keep sideswiping him, now it's win what you got now because you got enough to at least win the division. And then after this season, we should know if it's via draft, Michael Penix, via free agency or trade, this is what we're going to be doing at the quarterback position when we enter the 2027 season. I think that's where we are. Jerome K said we'll get reparations before the Falcons win the Super Bowl. Wow.
Man, it's not that bad, Jerome.
Said the only way to set yourself up to be a consistent contender is to make the tough decisions and actually build your roster. Why you think Bates and McGarry didn't restructure when it opens $24 million? Like, I get what you're saying. I just have a hard time just harping on that one Bates move. Like, that one Bates move does not put you over the top or under, in my opinion. You got to wait till you get the quarterback situation. And I think if the Falcons had a better quarterback situation, you could make that kind of decision with Bates. But until then, certain moves like that got to be on hold. Because right now, it's like we need Bates to go to the playoffs next year. That's what we're trying to do because we haven't been in 9 years. That's the context. So typically what you're saying is right. You're talking like a Philadelphia Eagle fan right there. That makes a whole lot of sense. But guess what? The Eagles have won the Super Bowl and been to 2 Super Bowls within 3 Super Bowls within the last 9 seasons.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, they won 2 Super Bowls. Been to 3.
Since we lost that one in 16, they don't want to. Since we lost that one in 16,
right? And what I'm saying is the Eagles fans can get that logic because they got rings to celebrate, recent rings. Falcons fans don't have a recent playoff berth. That's the problem. It's contextual. It's contextual. The president said Chuck Norris will return to Earth before the Falcons.
All right, good Lord, man. We didn't say we didn't have a chance at the Super Bowl. We just said stop putting all our chips in the 2027 and 28 season. Nobody told y'all to start this Falcon clouding now. It's for Falcon fans too, Jerome and Thomas. So disappointed in y'all.
All right, Westigo, say it again. Now no move we could have made puts us over the top. That's why you make the move on Bates now. Playoff for 1 season, then you still have to address the safety position next season or fix it now. You go playoffs down because you haven't been in 9 years. That's the context.
They're really trying to get rid of Bates, man. What Bates doing to you? You want Bates out of here.
Well, I mean, the bottom line is you're dealing with a playoff drought, and Falcons fans want some water on that drought. And unfortunately for Winston's, from his standpoint, Bates helps put the water on that drought to come out that fence. That's why Bates stays, because he'll give an immediate need, which is a playoff need, a better chance to get an immediate need, a playoff need, than worrying about what happens 2-3 years. Because you got to sell wins. You got to sell playoff berths. And that's just the bottom line. And I was
one more season, Winston. Bates will be out of here after next season, Winston. One more season. Now I'm trying to get rid of all my light skinned guys. All these light skinned guys, real, they want out of here. See, I didn't be hating on this.
All right, it's halftime.
I already got rid of Tyler Algier.
Sports show. We've had some spirited comments. I did not know the Falcons conversation was going to take as much time as it did. Thank you, Coach, for being patient with us on today. We'll be right back for the second half of the Red and Red Sports Show. We'll talk March Madness, Braves report. Then we got some NFL, more NFL talk, and some NBA talk. So we'll be right back. All right, here we go.
I didn't hear the music, y'all.
On the Red and Red Sports Show, coming to you with the second half of the sports show. We'll have some more comments real quickly before we jump right in. Your boy Jerome K said Trump will win a third term before the Falcons finish.
Oh Lord. Okay, enough.
Did he feel all that right?
Yeah, that he did, though. I gotta give credit. He did. The VP said, I'm going to dip out, giving the orders to cue the Lunas. We got you, Mr. VP. Enjoy your Gamecock day. Jerome K said, Jesse Jackson said, I am somebody, and the Falcons said, who, me?
No bad joke day today. Okay.
Wisdom said, I love Bates as a fan, but holding Bates for one more season does us future good outside of his swan song this season. One more season gives you another hole to fill next offseason.
Yeah,
let
but
me
it's
just
a safety.
Red, hold on, Red.
Red.
Let me do this. Red. Let me do this. I think you'll like this reference. There was a time when Rocky was fighting, and he had to fight Ivan Drago, and Apollo Creed was his trainer for this wonderful fight. And Rocky was basically talking about, his future, whatever. But Apollo Creed put it like this: there is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. And that's where the Falcons find themselves. There is no tomorrow. It's right now for the Falcons because they're in a 9-season drought.
You know something I'm noticing, real. Rocky must be one of your favorite film series because you sure quote a lot of Rocky quotes, man. And I'm talking about from all the movies.
I know up to Rocky 5. And then
I know what I'm talking about. From Rocky 1 to Rocky 5. You know the one with Tommy Lee and they fought outside in the bar? Yeah, I like that one too.
Yeah, and then the spinoff with
Michael B. Jordan.
Creed. Yeah. I mean that's some classic TV. Like, you couldn't grow up in our era without being a Rocky fan. Like, that had crossover appeal, black, white, Mexican, whomever.
Came on TV all the time.
All the time, man. Like that. Rocky 3 is my favorite. With Hulk Hogan and Mr. T and Mr. all that.
T, yeah.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite one. Sure.
My mom loved the first one. Oh my gosh, she watched that about 20 times. Man, you make her go up there, you hear Rocky. You know she watching Rocky, boy.
Well, that's the one that put it on the map. That's not one of my favorites because it's a little bit, it predates us, right? But but that whole Sylvester Stallone piece, man, that was genius. Jerome K said Rev knows all of the theological themes of Rocky. Some good preaching material for sure. There is some good preaching material.
Rev, Don't forget now when you say Michael B. Jordan, don't forget Oscar winner Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, and congratulations to him, man. Congratulations to him. That was dope.
Did you see Sinners, Rev?
No, I did. I'm not big into that horror kind of stuff. That's all.
I understand.
My mother did, and she enjoyed it. She said there are a lot of theological themes. I'm just not into that kind of horror type stuff. So that's why I skipped out on it. But everybody who I talked to just enjoyed Sinners for sure. Let's do a little Braves report real quickly, and then we'll jump into March Madness. So, Red, give us a quick report. We'll come to you. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, we'll get ready to come to you. Let me find the Braves clip in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
It's game time. It's GT.
What up, y'all? Welcome to the Braves report. Well, I got a little bit, but not too much, because the season doesn't start Friday, but it'll be here sooner than you think. So what we got going on with the Braves this week. Chris Sale named our opening day starter once again. He definitely looks ready. I think he shut Well, don't matter whoever they were playing, he shut them out this week. The bat, look, God, these bats look ready, man. I just hope Rev, coach, I hope they ain't fooling us, man, because these bats look like good as they did in 2023 season. I mean, they are leading the spring training in all the offensive categories. And that jerk profile who's trying to appeal his decision as if he innocent or something. Got his appeal denied because you ain't nothing but a cheater. 162 games. Cheater. You ain't never gonna play with the Braves again. You understand? You ain't never coming back. Like, let me stop. Okay. But and Daniel Baldwin, man, I was worried about a sophomore slump. What this guy doing in spring training rep? Man, Daniel Baldwin. I wouldn't be surprised if this guy's the MVP.
Drake Baldwin. Drake Baldwin.
Yeah, my bad, Drake Baldwin. Man, this kid, let's just say he's picking right up where he left off last year. Man, what a find. Good draft pick, Alex. Got that one right. Sean Murphy, your career with the Braves. So good. Drake Baldwin back up, he good too. So Sean Murphy, love you, buddy, but your career with the Braves is probably over. And like I say, season start on Friday. Ron Acuna is back. We're gonna talk about, what he was doing earlier this week. But man, Austin Riley growing his hair out, trying to get his little Mel Gibson mullet. He raking in spring training. Olsen raking. Man, half the I'm just going down the lineup. Half the rotation hitting 300 or better. So, like I say, and what's the guy that we got? Yastrzemski. Look like he's a good pickup. Another good pickup for Alex. So Braves, just don't be fooling us. Let what you doing in spring training carry over into the regular season. And I think what we saw last year will be an anomaly because Braves baseball is on the way back, baby. We just need them pitchers to get right. We got Sale, maybe Lopez, but we got $15 million to spend now that the jerk appeal was denied. So how about, Alex, you use some of that money to strengthen this pitching staff? Because if we don't win this year, I promise you, that's what it's going to come down to, this pitching staff. Me, Rev, and Coach, we don't want to see Bryce Elder again. We don't want to look at the Braves game and look at pitch him out and see Elder on that clown back, okay? So you got to get this pitching staff right. You trade that clown Elder, get him out of here, okay? About to start acting like Jennifer Jason Leigh from the Hateful Eight, but get him out of here. But anyway, Braves, you're looking good. Just keep it going when the season starts next Friday, and hopefully this season will be much better than what we had to experience last season until the last month of the season when you want to get hot. But anyway, Braves baseball looking good so far.
Let me ask you a quick question. How do you feel about Dubon at shortstop?
Personally, I think that position can always be upgraded because so many good offensive shortstops out here. But like I said, Rev, even he trying to do a little raking. He's hitting over 300 in spring training. Now, I don't know if that's going to carry on to the regular season because I know his bat is not why we got him. It's mostly because of his defense. But
and he's a utility
like I say,
guy.
Right. But one thing I need to ask, who is the Braves' new hitting coach? Because that guy obviously must be doing his job. Because, I mean, he got all these guys looking this good in spring training. Walt Weiss, you hired a good hitting coach. But I'm not going to be that non-self-aware, Real, to think that Dubon's going to come in the season just raking like I expect, Riley or Acuna and Olsen to rake like that. I don't even expect him to rake like Kim, the guy that's injured, to rake. But if he can give us anything offensively, I'll take it because that's not what we expect.
Okay.
But like I said, how do we know? He might give us one of them Arcia type seasons. We didn't expect much from him offensively. One year he gave us 20 home runs. So
yeah,
like I said, we'll see.
Yeah. Rev, he's referring to Sinners. It's not really a horror movie.
Yes.
And then he says, Jerome Case read, that's baseball world champion Ronald Acuna Jr.
Yeah, I know. Actually, he's a world champion with us and a world baseball classic champion. So I got you.
All right, let's jump into this March Madness. And Coach, you can wake up over there.
Coach, you go to sleep on my Braves report. Wake up.
Coach, we're gonna start with you to wake you up because I'm looking outside my window right now, and it's looking like a real Carolina blue with clouds. So first of all, let's talk. And you got to be grateful that Horace is not on, even though his team almost got dealt with.
Right.
In
I'm
tragic
surprised he's not on.
fashion. But Coach, first tell us about the state of Carolina basketball with this recent loss, with its recent debacle, and then anything else you want to talk about when it comes to March Madness. Go.
Y'all gonna fire Hubert.
Carolina lost. They out the tournament. They getting some good recruits in for next year. The end.
So we want to talk a little bit more, even though you gave this little short report.
He's not going to get fired. Let's clear that up. Okay.
Okay, you that's where I wanted to go. And are you saying he's not getting fired because of the recruits that you talked about?
Well, see, the thing with Carolina is Carolina needs to get back to being considered a destination, not destiny. Destination, not just a place to play. See, Duke is a destination. People want to come to Duke. At Carolina, they are having to go out and recruit because people are not. The mystique is off a little bit, and people are not just coming to Carolina because it's Carolina. That's how it used to be back in the day. They need to get back to that way of recruiting and thinking, not going out and having to beat the bushes like a lot of teams used to with what they're doing. Now, Davis is a good coach.
Can I interject more so about that mystique real quickly?
Interject.
Okay, because the problem is the mystique is based on the old college basketball and not the present college basketball. The mystique was based on building culture, grooming basketball players for 3 to 4 years. That's no longer the culture of college basketball. See, what happened with Carolina is what didn't happen with Duke. And this is where you got to give Coach K a lot of credit. Coach K shifted to where college basketball was going, and Roy Williams did. Roy Williams kept trying to be a culture builder, which he was used to under being an assistant under Dean Smith. Coach K, even though he fought initially the one and done, he shifted, and that's why Duke is more relevant now than Carolina is. And Hubert Davis is still trying to deal with the mystique of building culture when that basketball no longer exists at the top programs. So now the way Carolina makes the shift is if they're okay with losing players who are one and done and losing them in mass number. And that's the question Carolina's going to have to ask. Are we willing to make the shift that Coach K made? Coach K made the shift, won a championship with the shift when he had Okafor and Winston, Justice Winslow, and the Etney kid, where they were all freshmen, and he won a championship with that shift. And you see Shire is cool. You had Cooper Flag last year. You got Boozer this year. He got some more kids coming in because they already know those kids are leaving. Carolina has not invested into that type of culture because it's still living off the Dean Smith's mystique, which is dead and gone in this neo era of basketball.
It's got to get back. It's got to get to the point where you get those guys in, like just like you said, you know they're gonna be gone, but you just all you do is reload, don't recruit. Just get a new one of those players that come in and say, "Hey, we got somebody coming in that's gonna be just as good as Caleb Wilson." So if Caleb Wilson leaves, we got somebody coming in to take his place. And Hubert Davis, I don't know if his overall appeal is that he's not that kind. Like you say, he's not that kind of coach. He can coach. He knows X's and O's, but outside of the X's and O's, you got to know people, and you got to know what you're dealing with. And I don't know if that's too much for him or not. And then you see things like him getting Kenny Smith's son on TV. Yeah, that looked good, but that's Kenny Smith's son. He's probably going there anyway. Yeah, that's not no break a bank move. You know, you got to
play. That's good. If he can play,
if he can play. But see, the thing about it is, people are doing it just like you said. No matter what happens, everything is going to be compared to Duke because Duke is right up the road, 8 miles away, and every time Duke does something, they drive down the street, look in Carolina. Okay, what y'all gonna do? What y'all gonna do? And Duke is ranked number 1. Carolina is 17. Well, they were 17. That's unacceptable. Carolina's supposed to be in the top 5 every year, supposed to be, but they're not.
Well, let's go into some of the comments right quick. So, and I want to come back and follow up and give you a question as a Carolina fan. As the first Red and Red bracket champion, and I forgot we didn't even do that this year. Joe Black said, Hubert must go. Jerome K said, no, Coach, Hubert Davis lost. Hubert Davis is the problem. Hubert Davis can't coach. The coach sets the atmosphere and establishes the culture. Last comment, and you can rebuttal, Coach. Rev, Hubert Davis not embracing the modern Monder. Okay. There you go. Vintage Jerome, but he's making some good points. Embracing the modern era of players. He doesn't understand the times. Now, here's my question to you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Hubert Davis played for Dean Smith. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Hubert Davis coached under Roy Williams. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
So he's under the old model, the old Carolina mystique that built culture. We're no longer in that era. Is it time for Hubert Davis to go because he's not a good representation for Carolina in this era of college basketball?
That would be a credible reason for him, but not for just that. Like, I'm gonna go back to Jerome to say the man can't coach. He can coach. Now let's clear that up. He can coach on that court. I don't care what you say. Now, outside the court, that's where the appeal and the, like you said, the I'm gonna use a big word that I just learned today, Neolithic ways of dealing with players and dealing with this system nowadays is not going to transfer well with these new age outlaws.
So you're saying that probably it would make sense for Carolina to move on, even though they probably won't move on.
I agree.
Okay. All right. That's fair, because here's the problem with moving off of Hubert Davis. You run the risk of losing the draft class that's pretty good that's supposed to be coming in.
Yeah.
And you don't want to do that.
That's it.
Definitely don't want to do that. Because how many All-Americans they got? Like 1 or 2 coming in, right?
2.
2, yeah. All right, Jerome said, I've been a Carolina fan my entire life and have been watching UNC basketball since I was 6. Davis can't coach on the UNC court. He can coach at Norfolk State and be all right.
Jerome, how many years have you coached? Let me ask you that. And then I'll end the conversation right there.
All right. So besides the Carolina situation, what stood out to you when it came to March Madness?
I mean, every year, I don't care how you twist it, turn it, slide it, cut it, or make it. It's going to be a buzzer beater. It's going to be an upset. That's the beauty, again, of March Madness. That's why they gave it the appropriate name. And there's going to be a team that thinks they're supposed to just come in and waltz in because they got their name and get beat. Duke was beat the other day. I don't care. Anybody can argue with me if they want to. Duke was beat. Duke should have been at home. But when your coach, Sienna's coach, Mr. McNamara, who played basketball, plays 5 guys 40 minutes against Duke, you're not going to win. You're not going to win, sir. You got to sub sometime. You had them down by 13 points. You got to sub sometime and give your guys a blow. They were killing Duke's defense up, down, sideways, and left and right. And you kept them in the game. And then they looked like those boys in Coach Carter. When Coach Carter said, look over there at them. And them guys were sweating like hogs. They were tired and everything. He said, they can't keep up. He said, they're not going to be able to finish. Let's run the game. And that's what Duke did. Ran. And those guys for Sienna, they didn't have a lift on their shots or the layups, and it just fell apart for them because Duke was supposed to be at home. Duke was beat the whole game. Shire made his adjustments, but McNamara did not. That's one thing that stood out for sure. And I'm disappointed in him. He's supposed to be a former basketball player. He didn't play 40 minutes a game. And I'm like, Coach, I know you're feeling good, but you are not that good a team to take your boys 40 minutes against a team like Duke with those kind of athletes they got and beat them. I'm sorry. That was terrible coaching. That one of the worst coaching jobs I've seen. And then you look at, of course, you look at Kentucky and Santa Clara. You know that game. Wisconsin and High Point. And my boys, I call them my boys, just hint. Miami of Ohio ran into that buzzsaw against Tennessee. They beat SMU, and everybody was like, okay, they beat a real team. Then a real team came at them in Tennessee and stopped all that three-point shooting. They were like 5 for 29. And I heard a Prince song playing, Party Over, Oops, Out of Time. And that was the end of Miami, Ohio. But, that's another story. And today, going to be some upsets today. Stay tuned. I don't know who.
Coach, you got to at least choose one if you're going to make that statement. Like, you got to
Kentucky.
You got to be a prophet, man. If you're going to say
I don't know who now. It's going to be some upset.
Like, you got to call it, Coach. Put up some.
Don't talk basketball with me, please. Kentucky.
That's
Watch
tomorrow.
them today.
That's tomorrow.
I mean, tomorrow, whenever they play, watch them. Watch Kentucky and watch.
So you're saying Kentucky's going to beat Iowa State?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Iowa State got one of their best players. The big man is injured, and he's not going to play. There's no way he's going to play. And I use my James Witherspoon word. They got momentum right now. And Texas is going to beat Gonzaga. Texas got the size. Gonzaga shoots well, but that number 3 rating, I think, was a little high for them this year. Texas is going to take them out. And let's see who else is going to take a bite of the choke sandwich. I know those games for a fact are going to be losses. So,
all right.
Uh,
All right.
and then I think everything else, the chalk gonna hold up, and all the other ones, the top seeds are all gonna get to the round of 16. Duke, Arizona, Michigan, Florida. And I don't want to even talk, and I'm trying not to. Florida and Prairie View. My Lord. My Lord. What in the world was Prairie View playing on when they played against Florida? What were they playing on helium? Oh, I know Florida was way better than them. I didn't think they were 59 points better than them. That was
Come on.
scary.
That wasn't surprising. That's what 116 matchups used to look like back in the day.
Yeah, but I didn't.
I mean, Florida, you got to remember now, Florida's one of the top teams in the country now.
Yeah,
Their roster is 20 plus million more than Prairie View.
that's true. But I didn't think like I said, I didn't think they was going. I knew they'd beat them by about 25, 30, but almost 70, 60, 70 points.
So Jerome K's been on you, Coach. So I'm gonna give you a chance to rebuttal. Well, let me go back before you get
What's
the
that?
chance. Joe Black says St. Louis gonna beat Michigan. That'll be an upset.
Nope, not today.
We'll see. We'll see. They play tomorrow. Coach Sleepy Time with the false equivalence remarks. Use your logic when you talk about anything related to the NFL. He goes on to say, Coach is a basketball prophet. He's calling out the spirit that some team with the lead at the end of the game will win today and tomorrow. He doesn't know who, but he knows they will win.
So, Jerome, you were one of those guys I call Nostradamus. And I'm going to call you reason that because you make a lot of little cute remarks. You want everybody to laugh at you. That seemed to be your nom de plume today. You want to make a lot of pretty remarks. Come with some logic with your statements. Don't just make Trump will be president 3 times before. Whoopie do. You made your joke. Come with some logic. Why is Hubert Davis? I'm gonna get back to Hubert Davis. Hubert Davis consistently wins 20 games a year. How is a coach that can't coach win 20 games a year? I want you to explain that. Now let's get down to it. At least 20 games a year, he wins every year. If you can't coach, then you can't win 20 games a year. I don't care what happens when you get there. Tell me how he wins 20 games a year. I don't want to say anything else. I'm going to let you speak. Since you seem to be Mr. Humor today.
He said, Coach.
No. Don't make no jokes. No. This ain't about a joke. Come with some sense. With some logic. Talking about something depends. You get your dictionary in a bunch. Come on now. Talk about for real. Yeah, I'm gonna say something. You doing all that cute stuff. You make a remark. You making a remark to me about that, and then tell me how he wins 20 games a year if he can't coach.
While we're waiting on Jerome's comment, if he chooses to comment, Red, give us some March Madness dialogue. Your thoughts on what you've heard, witnessed, or watched.
Oh, well, kind of hard for me to say anything more than what Coach said, but I'll try. Like I said, my UGA guys disappointed me so much that I just been poo-pooing on everybody else. But I say what I did. Like Arkansas might be a tough out. That kid Darius Acuff Jr., possibly who I want the Hawks to get if they get the top draft pick. So I definitely like Arkansas. Duke, of course, they scared me a little bit. I almost thought about cheering for Siena, and then I saw Duke walking them down, and then I knew Siena was gonna hold the lead. You gotta play like Santa Clara. You gotta actually hold the lead, Siena. You just can't get a big lead and let Duke just walk you all the way back down, because then for not. But in Florida, I did notice Florida blowing whoever they played out like that. Ohio State, Lord, talk about a bracket buster. That was the first choke team that got beat. And then Wisconsin got beat by that High Point team. I don't know why everybody's so on High Point. Let's see if they can win today. High Point. Might be a low point after the day, but we'll see. Let's see what else in the tournament caught my eye. Alabama did all right yesterday. I think they won a game. Like I say, and the UNC upset was huge, but like Coach said, if Hubert Davis coming back next year, ain't gonna be no huge ramifications unless you wake up tomorrow or something and he's fired. Then that might be a story. But other than that, I'm definitely interested in Calipari and what he can do with these Arkansas guys. Duke look like they're gonna be a tough out. Houston, of course, they still in there. Michigan State, of course, Izzo won his first game like I predicted. Like I say, Izzo ain't never going out in the first round. I don't care what type of team he got. I don't care if they ranked high, ranked low, middle of the pack. Izzo never goes out in the first round. Now that's a coach who be ready. And I wish Georgia had Izzo, but we would have never got put out the first round. Man, this type of coach, we need a coach like that. But other than that, Red, that's about pretty much all I can say that really caught my eye. I'm trying to think, is it one game I'm not remembering that probably was impactful? But for the most part, I think I got all the impactful games. AJ got put out first round, BYU guy, but that's not going to affect the draft stock. And of course, like you say, Kingston Flemings with Houston is still around, because I was trying to think about the top draft guys and who they play with. Kansas had a little a solid game yesterday. It was a little close, but they pulled away in the end. So DP Peterson's still alive, so I'm gonna be watching him. So for the most part, that's about all it is. I'm just gonna keep my eyes, Rev, on all the top draft prospects, because with the Hawks possibly having a high draft pick this year, because they get the Pelicans or the Bucks pick, they might have a chance at one of these guys. So that's possibly why I'm so interested in this year's draft. But for the most part, that's about all that caught my eye out the first round of the game so far.
Okay. Are there any upsets that you have in mind or no?
I ain't even really checked out who playing today, but I'm sure it's gonna be a few of them.
While you're looking at if you got any, we'll come back to you. Okay. Jerome says, first of all, you came at me with the nonsense. Don't get yourself all caught up. Hubert Davis is a consistent choke in the tournament.
That's beside the point. He wins 20 games in one of the toughest conferences in the country. Explain how he does that if he's not a good coach, Jerome. You keep dancing around what I'm asking you. Explain how he does that. At least 20 games, one of the toughest. He beat Duke. He beat Kansas. I mean, come on. And he might have beat Duke again if Caleb Wilson wasn't hurt. But he lost. He didn't find a way to beat him. Explain that. That's what I want you to explain.
He has a breakdown. He has a breakdown for you, Coach. Coach defend Hubert Davis NCAA tournament record. Because I think y'all might be talking two different things. Here's the awful truth and breakdown. 21, 22 national runner-up. Final Four loss to Kansas. 2022, 23 did not qualify. 2023, 24, Sweet 16, 2024, 25, first round loss, 25, 26, first round loss.
Okay, you're not listening to what I'm saying. I can see you way off. I'm going to stop and say it's slow for you. They're in the tournament. I'm not saying he's not winning in the tournament. He's doing bad in the tournament. I'm not denying that. But how does he get there if he is not a good coach? You said yourself he's not a good coach. But yet in the ACC, go ahead, Rev.
I think y'all are arguing two different things. You're arguing regular season.
That's what I'm trying to tell him. That's what I'm asking him about.
He is He's clearly making his context the tournament. And that's where he's saying the choke job, and he's saying he's not, in essence, he didn't use these words, but from this is what I'm taking. He's saying he's not a good tournament coach.
Well, say that then. You're not saying that. He's just saying he's not a good coach altogether, pretty much.
So I think his argument would be you cannot keep Hubert Davis around if the threshold for success for Carolina is a NCAA championship.
Keep trying to save him, Rev, because you throwing a life preserve at it to him, trying to save him, because he ain't saving himself. That's for sure.
He says, let me break. He is stupid. Let me break it down to you for the hairs in your ear. I'm talking about. He's stupid. He says, I'm talking about his consistent losing and looking bad in the tournament. The tournament and the championship is the goal.
Let me break it down to you for your dictionary skills and your non-spelling every week. And I do mean every week. What about the regular season?
Not weak as in strong. He's talking about weak as in,
What about
calendar.
the regular season, Jerome? How does he get to the tournament? How does he beat teams like Duke and Kansas if he's not a good coach? Stop talking about the tournament. Forget the tournament. The tournament, he's struggling. He's not getting them there. No. Don't you talk about no con. I want you to tell me. Is he a good coach in the regular season? Yes or no? That's what I want you to tell me.
But Coach, here's the problem with your argument, right? I think you have a good regular season argument. The problem is you opened up earlier talking about the Carolina mystique. The Carolina mystique is not about winning 20 games in the regular season. That's not what made Carolina the program it has become. So when you talk Carolina, when you talk Kentucky, when you talk Duke, Kansas, the threshold for discussion begins with the tournament. That's why UNC in basketball is considered a blue blood, because of what it does in the tournament. So I think you're not living up to your discussion about the Carolina mystique, and it has to get back there if you're focusing on just 20 regular season wins and not dealing with the fact that he's come up short. Now, you could argue that he's had 2 good seasons in the tournament. Sweet 16 ain't a bad move in a Final Four appearance. That's not bad for your first 4 or 5 years. But the past 2 years have been bad with first-round losses. Now, you can add a caveat to that saying, well, that could have been expected with Caleb Wilson, his top player, not being there. But then the problem comes when somebody can say, but you did have a 19-point lead in the first round of this particular.
And I don't want to use Caleb Wilson as an excuse, because that's what that would be. Because the same thing, you look at Duke. Duke won without their top guard, so they were without a player, and they came and won. But my whole point to him is, you're saying he can't coach X's and O's.
Well, I don't think he's saying that. I don't think he's saying that.
I'm trying to tell him.
I think it's clear from it what he's saying. He's saying he's not coaching well in the tournament, because when he puts down the breakdown, and let's look at the last 3 years, which are not good. You did not qualify in 2023. Sweet 16, 24, 25. First round loss the last 2 years. So I think it's clearly about tournament, because you got to be a good coach to make the tournament. At the end of the day, that I think that at least you got to have some X's and O's. So I think he's regulating his can't coach is more so tournament, not just like he literally can't coach at all.
Yeah. Well,
So from a tournament perspective, from your opinion as a Carolina fan, has he underachieved?
Of course he has. He has not. He is not. Of course he has when it gets to the tournament because Carolina is expected to be in the dance for a while. They're not expected to go out like you would see a team like a High Point One. I can't use them like a Miami of Ohio or one of those teams. Because they're like you said, they're considered a blue blood. Kansas, Kentucky, those kind of teams, they're considered blue bloods.
All right, so this is the last comment, and Coach, if you choose to rebuttal, that's fine. That'll be the last comment on this. Will be yours. K said it's March Madness. Championships are the goal, Coach. UNC is known for being elite in the tournament and winning championship. It should be championships. Say champions. Dean, Roy, etc. never lost a 20-point lead in the tournament.
Never lost. See, there you go again. Never lost. LOST. While you might be cracking jokes. I'm done, Rev. Go on to the next topic, please.
All right. So it's 5 for 5 time. We've already been given our cue from our vice president to Q Lunas. So we will seek to do it. This is the time where we have a topic that we'll talk for at least 5 minutes. Our panelists will have 1 minute to share what's on their mind pertaining to the topic, 45-second single screen. And then the last 15 seconds, if they choose to use it, will be full screen. If they go over their minute, there's a great chance that they may get muted. While they are speaking, Reverend Knight Nation, feel free to type in the chat whatever comments that you have, because after they have given their minute max comment, then we'll come to your comments. And then whatever little time that we have left, the Rev may have a little bit to chime in on the particular topic at hand. So we've been given our cue from our VP. So here it is. So the music has been cued. Let's go to our topics that are on hand. Good news for women's basketball fans. There's been an agreement. The WNBA reached an agreement on a new CBA that will not compromise this current season. We'll start with you, Red. Your thoughts about the agreement. Go.
Well, I am glad y'all ladies finally came to your senses, because you was about to make a huge, colossal mistake as you went on strike or got locked out or done anything to mess up this upcoming season right here. This is not the time to be going away, okay? This is not the time to be out of sight, out of mind, okay? You got the World Cup coming up. Baseball season is about to start. The NFL draft will be here soon, and the NBA playoffs is about to start. You playing these little money games and look at me games, yeah, you gonna find yourself on the outside looking in, and that door might not gotten open again, not for a long time. So I'm glad the ladies wised up, real like to say, wise up, and realize that taking the deal now will be more beneficial for the upcoming future deals. Like I say, the ladies that's playing now, you making deals for the future lady players, okay? See, they the one, the ladies like maybe 5-10 years from now, them the ones that's gonna really cash in, but y'all can cash in too now. Like I say, Age about to get her super max, so it's all about being smart, being financially intelligent, thinking about the future, and wising up. And that's what y'all did. Good job, ladies.
Coach.
All right, ladies. It's time for y'all to put some good action on the court. You got your money. People have paid y'all, so now it's time to get that action on the court and show everybody why they paying y'all that much money. Let's go. We're going to need a good season of competition, and hopefully my girl Nafisa Kaya don't get hurt so they can play the whole season.
So let me ask you a question. Do you think, knowing the history of the WNBA, knowing that for many of its years, they had a negative, like owners basically were supported by the NBA, and that's how they made it to make it worth their while to own the teams. Do you think paying women an average salary of $230,000 or $270,000 to $300,000, that's the bare minimum, after they were only getting paid 5 digits as a minimum salary, is sustainable long term? In other words, do you think the momentum that the WNBA has received is sustainable to support the new labor agreement? Who wants that?
I think with the popularity that's going on right now in women's college basketball sports, and with those women migrating to the WNBA soon after their college careers, as long as they keep getting the ladies that we want to see, like the Caitlin Clarks, the Jujus, the Flo Jays, the Reagans from South Carolina. It got to be those impactful ladies that people want to see. But I don't know anybody that's as impactful as Caitlin Clark. Maybe Juju, but she's a little hurt right now. But it's gonna have to be people up on that level to where if you want to keep the money rising up, sort of say. If you keep it right now where it's at, where the minimum being 200,000-300,000, they still might have difficulty. They still gonna need the NBA's help. Now, let's not get crazy. They still gonna need the NBA's help. But at least that'll be somewhat of a. At least that'll prevent the ladies from having. They won't have to take second jobs in the offseason, something like that.
If they choose
And I
not
think,
to.
I think for right now that's as good as it's gonna get. So, I mean, for right now. So the fact that ladies won't have to, when the off season comes, you can relax and work on your game. You don't have to go overseas, or like Angel Reese say, you have to take modeling jobs or do whatever she does to make her bills, keep her bills paid. And I look, ladies, you can't be living beyond your means too now. I know that's what the problem. Some of y'all ladies like to live beyond your means. You're gonna have to be smart with your money now. Because if you're trying to live beyond your means, you might have to keep working in the off season. But as long as you're smart with your money, and then you should be okay. This should keep you y'all should be making good money for the years to come. So,
all right, Coach, you got anything quick before I go to these comments?
Yeah, you got girls coming up. Betts, Hidalgo, Miles, Watkins, AZ Fudd, Sarah Strong. Those girls, I think, can keep the momentum going once they come out of college and go, because they're marketable girls and they got appeal. So they should be able to keep it going for the next couple of years.
Good point. Jerome K said the WNBA reached an agreement, yay, but when will they turn a profit? When will they make some money? If no profit is made the next few years, the WNBA is going to fold. The president said it's great and all, but again, it's all about marketability. They can't make money if people don't go. If things don't change, there will not be enough financial sustainability to continue that model. The WNBA will fold like a fitted sheet. So we see that we got two persons who are part of our Revenite Nation who are predicting that it will fold if they can't make the money. Basically, they are following what Carton from the Carton Show, I forget his first name, used to be on Fox. What is his name? The Craig Cart, that's his name. He does a podcast now, but he was on the morning show before FS1 did all those changes. He is predicting that these salaries are not sustainable and the WNBA will fold because of this agreement.
Oh,
Real
wow.
short. Real short. Will the WNBA survive 10 years from now? Yes, and one line, why? Coach, I'll start with you. Will the WNBA
Yes.
survive 10 years? One line, why so?
Yes.
Why so?
Market. Player marketability. I didn't mean to say 2 words, but player marketability.
I said one line, and I say one word. That's cool.
Oh, one
Red.
line. Okay.
WNBA survive 10 years from now? Yes or no? And why? One line.
Yes, because of the upcoming players that will make it survive.
And I'm going to say yes because of the NBA.
Well, that's how they've been surviving so far. So, yeah. As long as the NBA don't go under.
Yeah, if the NBA sustained them for 20 years and they weren't making no money, then surely the NBA wouldn't mind sustaining them if they go into the same situation, because the NBA's making more money than it had when they first started.
They might not even notice it helping them this time, real, because they make so much money. They're like, wow, we helped them out again. I didn't even notice.
And then he knows, right? Because I mean, you look at these contracts that some of these guys are making it in. Like, NBA life is real good right about now.
Hey, real, you can take one player. One of these players can probably help them out themselves.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, you take Luka's contract or Giannis's contract, they can sustain the WNBA by themselves. If the salary cap is $7 million.
There you go, Real. Tell all the NBA high-paid NBA players to give $1 million apiece. There you go. That'll cover it all.
And they're good. So that's why, the NBA ain't gonna let them. They ain't gonna let them fold because they need that for women's basketball. All right, let's talk a little football real quickly. Waddle, the speedy wide receiver, went to Alabama, has been traded to the Denver Broncos. We talked a little bit about it. What were your initial thoughts? And is that a good trade let's focus on the Broncos. We know that the Dolphins are tanking. What says you, Coach?
Broncos just got better. I think they're going to be a force again. And the Dolphins, well, you better start looking in the draft for some players.
Coach, we're not focusing on the Dolphins. Keep it on the Broncos. We already know they take it.
The Broncos, they just needed that one wide receiver because, like I said, they were down. If it wasn't for Stidham quarterback and Bo Nix, probably could have got it. But if Stidham had Waddle out there helping out, I think that might have been a bridge to take them over the top. So the Broncos are going to be a contender again this year, a heavy contender.
Red, jump in there. What you got?
Yeah, as far as Broncos wise, I think it was a good move for them. They need somebody to take the top off their offense. We had Courtney Sutton last year, and it's one more guy I can't think of that they had on their receivers. But that wasn't enough. To me, it wasn't enough. Waddle. Now you add Waddle to what they already had. That definitely puts them over the top skill player wise. And then you got the running back, J.K. Dobbins, and the guy who named again with a T Turner or Term, whatever his name. You got them two coming back. And you got Sean Payton, the master, dialing it up. So, like I said, you got everything still in place, and of course you got Bo Nix. Never know what you're gonna get, but adding Waddle, that'll give them another safety blanket. So when you back there running around, you can't find nobody. You look for Waddle, look for Sutton, you should find somebody open. So it's gonna help the Broncos offense out. I'm not gonna say tremendously, but it'll help them out. They'll go to another level, and they'll be competing with the Chiefs and the Chargers once again in the NFC, the AFC West. Just until Mendoza and Kubiak figure things out, then it's gonna be a 4-team competition every season. So better, if you're gonna win it, you better start to win it now, Sean. Cause I'm telling you, that division ain't gonna get no easier, buddy. No easier.
All right. Jerome Case, going back to the previous topic, said, Rev, the NBA must be using the WNBA as a tax write-off. All right. I don't have any additional comments, so we're going to move on. The World Baseball Classic. USA comes up short, gets the silver medal. The Atlanta Braves' own Ronald Acuna Jr. gets a gold medal, helping to lead his Venezuela team over the United States in the World Baseball Classic Championship game. Red, your thoughts?
Just disappointed in my American boys. I mean, come on, man. We are USA, and we out there looking like some doggone a college baseball team compared to some of these other teams, Rev. I mean, baseball has really changed, man. I mean, when you can look at, and this is why I think the World Baseball Classic is so great, and I think it's growing in popularity, Rev and Coach, is because if you look at a lot of these teams, most of them, not just us, most of them are filled with Major League Baseball players. It's not like, it used to be the U.S. team was gonna have the advantage because the other teams, they don't really have too many professional. Oh, please! Are you kidding me? All these teams got professional baseball players. The Japanese team, the Dominican team, the Venezuela team. Boy, I'm telling you, all these teams are, to me, equal. Now, with as many baseball players as you have on them, and man, USA, boy, you couldn't handle that. Salvador Perez, the pitcher they had on the mound, and man, them Venezuela bats, dog. Ron Acuna, my guy, Ron Acuna, KC Royals got Perez. They just treated the USA like they were nothing. Like, dude, we got players too, and we finna shut you down, Judge. And after that, we gonna shut the kid from the Red Sox down. And after that, there ain't nobody else left. So look, that was just very disappointing, but it's a plus for Major League Baseball that you got so many of these teams filled with Major League Baseball players. Major League Baseball is gonna benefit from this World Baseball Classic tremendously.
Coach, what you got?
When you can only get about 2 or 3 hits in the championship game, and one of the hits is a home run that gives you 2 runs against with a team of guys who average 30 plus home runs a year, maybe some conversation need to be taking place. Simple as that.
Mark DeRosa may need to be out.
Well, I'm gonna say this. Pound for pound, does the USA have the best talent?
No, not from
that,
I
think. I think that's what we have to come to grips with in basketball, right? Because don't be surprised if France beats USA in the next gold medal game. Don't be surprised, because you won't have Steph, you won't have LeBron anymore, you won't have KD, right? So France got all these young guns coming, and then if you look at the United States team, like look at our center fielder. Was it Buxton, who plays for the Twins? Like, is he the best center fielder in America? That's from America.
No. You know what I'm saying? What was Michael Harris? What was man, I know we could have got some. We were missing some players too, Red. We didn't have all our top guns out there.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I think we got to realize that the Dominican team, Venezuela team, Japan, they are producing some of the talent that makes the major leagues what it is.
Yeah, they are. That's why I say these teams have gotten better. When you look at these teams, they full of Major League Baseball. The Japanese team had Ostani and the kid that pitched the ninth inning for the World. I mean, the guy that closed the World Series. He was a starting pitcher.
Yeah. Now, see, the thing that is, I think, some of the American players are dealing with, and I heard more about the American players having to face this than some of the other teams, is that these teams in the major leagues were giving them specific directions. on what they could do and what they couldn't do. I can't remember the guy who's the top-notch closer on the American team, but his team stated that he could only pitch unless it was a save situation. So when you get these kind of the Padres. Okay, what was his name?
Mason Miller. Miller.
Yeah.
Mason Miller.
All right. So they would not allow him to pitch unless it was a save position, because in the regular season or in the playoffs, if the Padres are in the same situation where they're trying to maintain a tie, they would have thrown him out there, right? Instead of waiting for a save situation. So that's some of the dynamics that were going on. And this is why some folk are trying to potentially raise the question if it needs to be moved from the regular season. But I think you don't get the popularity that it's gotten if you move it.
I don't understand it. Why you want to move it? To me, it's a glorified spring training competition. Are you still getting your workout in? You get pumped. You get ready for the season. You get this big tournament. So I mean, what's gonna happen if you go out and get hurt? Then I mean, you were gonna get hurt during the first week of the season anyway. If you can't get through that without getting hurt.
Well, and if you extend it like to more when it's more into the season, you're gonna have injuries. So that's gonna water it down. It's gonna water it down. So I think, from one perspective is the best time. The other argument is that typically at this time of the season, the pitchers are normally ahead of the hitters. That's part of the argument.
I couldn't tell where some of our pitchers, man, but and you gotta think Scuba, we didn't have Scuba, and he went back to Detroit. And they say he came back to sit on the bench. But look, coming back sitting on the bench, if you're not playing, you might as well just stay with your regular team. How is him sitting on the bench helping us out, man? We needed players. All these the foreign teams, the international teams had they players, and none of them taking no. They didn't give instructions to them. Did the Braves give instructions to the Venezuela team that Ron or Queen can only have one at bat? Even if they did, that one at bat still hurt us. So, dude.
Yeah. Jerome said it's the irony for me, though. This was the World Seasoning Baseball Tournament, and the team who brought potato salad with raisins lost. All right. And then he goes on and says Broncos made a good choice. More weapons are helpful. And then he said, Rev, USA Baseball is getting what they deserve by ensuring that grassroots young Black Americans have limited access to the sport. Any opinions? I don't know if I'd say they are limiting access. I think here's the reality. And I'm going to turn, well, no, we got a couple more topics. Let me turn it down. Here's the reality. Black kids are not playing baseball in part, and we've talked about this before on the show, because football and basketball have become year-round sports. Like when I was coming up, I could play baseball because AAU wasn't the machine that it was back in the day. You don't have teams like we played spring league in high school, right? But now they have, and we played a little bit of summer league, and normally that would be like 2 weeks. They're playing more games out of season in high school basketball than they play in season. I interviewed the head coach of the Coatesville basketball team here where I live, and he was talking about they play like 50, 60 games between the summer and when they actually start playing in December. So when you have that amount of games, a kid doesn't have a chance to play baseball anymore like I had. When you got 7-on-7 leagues in football that are going on right now, and then you start bringing in spring season or the preparation for the spring practices. And then that goes into summer practices. You're just not going to get the amount of kids anymore that are going to be willing to play baseball because all their time is playing football and basketball year round. Anybody else want to
And
comment?
Rev, you had a dangerous curveball as a lefty, so you had an advantage over a lot of people.
That's pure hyperbole, Coach, because I was a right-hand thrower. So I batted left-handed, but I threw ball right-handed. But I wish it were true, Coach. We might not be sitting on this set right now because I would have had millions of dollars. All right, let's get back into 5-5. We got to go to the NBA. Tough break for the Detroit Pistons, who are having a season for the ages. Cade Cunningham goes down with a very serious lung injury. They're projecting he might get back by the end of the regular season and as well as by the playoffs. What says you, Coach, about this injury?
The Pistons are going to have to weather the storm on this one because that's a huge loss. That's a huge loss for the Pistons. Cunningham is the engine that. I'm going to cut you off for a minute, Real.
All right, we'll remove you. Come back. All right, go ahead, Red. What's your thoughts?
Okay. Like Coach was starting to say, definitely a huge injury for the Pistons. They're definitely gonna have to weather the storm. I hope that he gets back for the playoffs. I hate to sound cold-hearted about this, but in the meantime, Hawks and Lakers, you better take advantage of it. Y'all got a couple of games in Detroit coming up. No excuses now. Hawks, definitely for you. Lakers, you too, really. Even though I felt y'all was gonna handle them. Before since they got y'all, I think y'all was gonna be ready for them this time. But Hawks, y'all got them Wednesday. You might want to take advantage of this injury now, like I say. But like I say, I was liking what they were doing in Detroit. I like Cade, so I hope he gets back so he can go on a little playoff run. Unless they happen to play my Hawks in the playoffs, then I'm gonna be kind of upset if we make it back and then they end up eliminating the Hawks. Then cause you probably gonna come back and say, Red, I know you regret those words, don't you? But other than that, I think I like Cade Cunningham. He's a good player, and I like the fact he got the Pistons back on top. But other than that, yeah, they're gonna have to weather the storm. The playoffs, they'll be here in about a month. So hopefully, I'm not too familiar with a collapsed lung and what needs to happen to get yourself back at health, but I'm sure a lot of rest. So like I say, if he comes back and is ready for the playoffs, then I guess it'll be cool. If he's not able to play in the playoffs, then that'll be a colossal injury because they was having such a great season. But like I say, the cold-hearted part about this is that the season must go on, and I'm very interested to see if the Hawks can take advantage of this. But hey, I'm still upset but good luck. Get well soon for your injury. But the sports fan in me is trying to figure out how the Hawks can take advantage of it. But get well soon, okay?
You said forget about what kind of effect it has on Detroit. It's all about the Hawks taking full advantage.
I'm saying, Detroit ain't number one seed, so they ain't gonna miss the playoffs.
Well, I'll just say it this way: any talk about championship or going to the championship is a wash now, even if he comes back. A collapsed lung is serious. Like, you don't see too many people coming back playing at a high level, coming back from a lung injury. If it were closer to if the regular season weren't as advanced as it is now, he probably would sit out like 2-3 months to fully recover.
Okay, yeah. So you're right. It's going to affect
this is a whole rush case scenario for him to get back. And you just don't, no matter what the injury is, you just don't come back playing at an elite level.
True.
Like playoff basketball and regular season basketball, two different things,
Yes,
two different energy. Like we saw it even with Michael Jordan, as great as he was, and granted, he had been out for a year and a half. He tried to come back, and that's the year that they did not win the championship, didn't even advance to the championship, because that's just a whole level of basketball that you can't just get to play at on that level, just coming back in off rest, injury, whatever the situation might be. So it's going to be a good story. I think the Pistons have won this season. Regardless of what happened, they are relevant now.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody can take that away. They have something to look forward to the future. So if anything, the season is not lost for the Pistons because, to be honest, nobody saw this season coming. So they've already won. That's the mark I would say. And now I think in the future, despite the injury, they can look towards competing for something big, and that could be that championship. All right. Drone case got to go, I guess. Great show. Y'all have a great day. Appreciate you, bro. And good barbing with Coach. Going back, the president said, let's also add that baseball for black kids isn't considered sexy. They don't want to face the possibility of lagging in the minor leagues. But they are also not informed that next to soccer, baseball has some of the biggest contracts and one can have a long career. All those are great points. And here's the reality. Baseball is not sexy in this social media era. Basketball and football are amongst black kids. I know that for myself, running a social media network. We get a lot of traction with football posts and basketball posts. We're not getting near the traffic that we got with baseball, even though baseball just started. But baseball is not on the same wavelength from a social media perspective as basketball and football. And to the president's point, it may be just because it's not considered as sexy.
Baseball is a slow burn, but basketball and football, the pace is a little bit faster. Baseball is a slow burn. For sure.
Now,
still can be entertaining for fans of the game, but like I say, you know what you're getting into. You know what you're watching. So it's not like you're going to turn on a baseball game and be like, well, come on, what's taking so long? You're watching the baseball game.
Right. All right, Mr. President, we're going to add your additional in just a second. NBA expansion. Do we need it? I'll start off, and I'm not going to, we'll just take 5 minutes between the two of us. I believe so. It has the revenue. You have markets that want it. The product is already, to me, watered down. So why would it hurt to water it down some more? As long as you have some decent names at the top. And every team will have some type of franchise. And let's be honest, Las Vegas is going to be a destination for free agents. That's honest. So the Las Vegas market is a no-brainer. Seattle is a good basketball market. Yep. Seattle had basketball there for 3-4 decades. The city just didn't think that they would ever move, and they were a little late to the stadium building. But I'm sure the city now understands the NBA means business. So they're going to do what needs to be done to make sure that Seattle keeps a new franchise. And Seattle had good years. They had a championship in the 70s. They had the Gary Payton, as well as the Sean Kemp era that went to the NBA Finals. So Seattle has never been short of supporting an NBA franchise. And that's not why they went to Oklahoma City. It was all about a building, not support. Red, what you got?
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Rev. And pick back up on your Seattle point, and look how since they moved to Seattle, look how their other sports have thrived now. And now they can't wait to get basketball back in Seattle now. You had the Seahawks who don't came up. They was an afterthought when the Supersonics was there. Now they don't been to 3 Super Bowls, won 2 championships, got a new stadium. You got the Mariners who just missed the World Series by 1 game last year. Talk of the town, got their new stadium, looking good for years to come with Cal Riley and Julio Hernandez and that little small core they got over there. So yeah, now, I bet that building get built now. I bet they gonna have no problem putting a basketball arena in Seattle now. And they gonna be like, where was all these politicians and where was all these decision makers years ago when you took our team away? Yeah, exactly. But yeah, Seattle will relax, Seattle fans. Basketball is on the way back. The NBA realized what a mistake they made. Oklahoma City. And you better be glad Oklahoma City is a good team, because I had no idea that team would be as profitable as they are now, but good decision makers, good front office to show you what you can do, even in a small town like Oklahoma City. And as far as, like you say, everything you said about Vegas, you know that's true. Vegas is that type of town. It's like Atlanta, it's like Miami, it's like New York, it's like LA. People want to come to Vegas. People want to live in Vegas. People want to visit Vegas. So you know you're not gonna have no problems with players want to play. So like what you say, Rev, the game is already watered down. Everything you get with the other 30 teams, you're gonna get the same thing with these two teams. You're gonna have players coming up jacking up about 33s a game, but you can still get some superstars. You can still get some good players over there. But you're gonna see the same thing that you see with these other teams. About 30 or 40 3-pointers a game. You're gonna have the dunks, you're gonna have the inside presence. So, like Rev said, you just added 2 more teams to this watered down, but as we say, very profitable NBA now. Because I mean, these TV contracts into the billions. The NBA is as popular as it's ever been. It's so popular that they paying child support bills to the WNBA. All that child support. These ladies big in the NBA. Child support, child support. So I'm just saying. So trust me, NBA expansion. I thought about Tracy McGrady was saying this. We don't need it because you don't have enough talent now in the NBA. Oh please, you got plenty of talent. They just not winning when they supposed to, just choking under the bright lights. But talent, you got plenty of talent. You're gonna have plenty of talent to go to Seattle. You're gonna have plenty of talent to go to Vegas. And don't forget, it's gonna be an expansion draft. So hey, they're gonna take some talent from other teams and put them on them teams early. So don't worry, Tracy. Those teams will survive early on. But
for sure.
yes, the NBA expansion shouldn't be no problem adding 2 more teams to conglomerate they already have.
The president said Seattle just built a new arena for the new hockey team in 21.
Right.
Alexis Hill said, does the NBA really need expansion? 30 teams is enough to. And the product is already watered down, like Red is saying. More teams tanking, like I guess now. I think the thing is expansion. We're talking 2 different discussions. If you're talking mainly expansion from a talent situation, you would say no. But if you're talking about business-wise, it makes all the sense in the world, because you got 2 cities that can sustain a franchise and bring in more money. So this is clearly about money. And we know just off the last television deal, Adam Silver is all about that dollar. Moving the NBA like the NFL to streaming apps, right? Netflix, Prime, taking it off traditional TV.
Peacock.
They're all about.
Let me tell you, Rev, some of these NBA teams they got set up on these streamers, they are not good. If they were trying to mimic inside the NBA, A lot of these, they are doing terrible jobs, man. Some of these guys don't even need to be analysts.
Well, I think inside the NBA just has the bar so high that nothing compares. Like even with ESPN at the time they tried to bring in Stephen A. and others. I mean, that doggone Barkley, Kenny Smith, Shaq, Ernie Johnson combination is just one for the ages that can never be duplicated. And the way they do it with entertainment as well as knowledge, and you got a good base, got a good blend rather, because Barkley's not the most knowledgeable. He's just one guy that's going to say whatever's on his mind, and you got to take what he says because it ain't like he was a bum. He was one of the best players to play the game. And then you got Kenny Smith, who knows the game, right? Wasn't as great as Shaq and Barkley, but Kenny Smith could have been a coach.
Yeah, exactly.
Then you got Ernie, who's just a legend in broadcasting. And then you got Shaq, who's got some humor. Then he got some knowledge. Then he got some type of, where he can play the villain role, like Barkley's the villain, but he can play a little bit of the villain. And then you got him barbing with Chuck in a way that Kenny Smith couldn't, because Kenny Smith could say you ain't got no championships, but then Barkley say you rode the coattail of Olajuwon to your championships. Shaq can at least say I was one of the key calls.
And Shaq be Kevin Barkley too. When playoff time comes around, you ain't got no ring. So me and Kenny can right there. He team up with Kenny when the playoffs come. But then during the regular season, they team up on Kenny because he wasn't that good of a player. He could never get his team to the playoffs from the regular season.
So it's just a great dynamic all the way around. And I don't know if any show can duplicate, because part of the problem that these other shows are having is they can't get the caliber of players and also polarizing figures that Shaq and Barkley are. They can get other Hall of Famers, but they're not polarized.
Popular you thought you were. That goes to show you these players that all y'all ain't as interesting as you thought you were. Barkley, Shaq,
like Shaq and Barkley have been out the league for at least, Barkley going on 15, 20 years now. Shaq going on good 10, 12 years, and they are still relevant. They are still in commercials. They are still in demand. It's been a while since I've seen the last Tracy McGrady commercial.
Right, that's what I'm saying. A lot of these guys ain't as marketable. And that lets you know, Rev, how great the NBA was back in the day when you still got players back in the day still marketable today, still doing commercials. Barkley and Shaq and Jordan, and like you say, these guys, that lets you know why we love the NBA, because of the personalities, not just the talent. It was the personalities. These guys today, they ain't got no personality besides LeBron and Steph. Who you really see on commercials these days? I mean, from today's players, not too many. Who we gonna market in the years to come? So,
and see, to your point, part of one of the old aspects of NBA was, in order for you to make more money, you had to have personality.
Yeah.
Because there was a time where players made more money off the court than they did on the court, and that was based on their personality. A lot of these guys now don't really have incentive, because you get somebody like Jason Tatum making 50, 55 million, he's getting paid by some potato chip commercial just to say 5 words.
He is so not interested, man. These guys are not that interested. That's why I be getting on them so hard, because they not. I want one of these guys to step up and be interested, so we can relate to, somebody we want to hear talk. Is Shea Gilgeous-Alexander? How interesting is he? Jokic? What he be talking about? Luka? I mean, what he be talking? I mean, these guys just, besides their play, after the game is over with, we don't want to hear nothing from these guys. Can any of them be in a movie today? Can any of them have remember, Real, some of the players used to have cartoons back in the day. That's how marketable they were. Who in the world we want to see on the cartoon today? No, but I mean, come on, NBA. Y'all got to players. Y'all got to be better marketable. You got, besides, like I say, Steph Curry and LeBron. When they retire, man, the NBA is going to have a hard time finding some marketable players.
It's in trouble. It's definitely in trouble. All right, Red, let's put a bow on this.
That's it?
Yeah, man. Who has the I'm sorry, the president asked something. I'm sorry, Mr. President.
Oh,
He
sorry, Mr.
asked,
President.
hold on. Alexis said, okay, we did that. All right. The president asked extra 5 question. What is LBJ going to do? When is he calling it quits? You want to add it first, or you want me to go first?
I guess I'll say it, since you're a fan. I'll let you talk a little longer. It'll probably be next season if he goes back to Cleveland. But I got to give LeBron some props right now. Yeah, that's right, Rick. Got to give LeBron a little credit. Him taking a back seat and being the third option on the Lakers, something I never thought he'd do. But boy, is that one of the best things. That's something I can definitely give him praise for, because not only is it helping his game out, it's helping us out. And man, whoever thought that LeBron would take a backseat to Luka and Austin, and now it's helping the team out, and it's got him playing at a much higher level. It's like he believing now. So LeBron, the way he's been playing this week, man, I ain't seen this type of excitement from him for a while, Rev. Like, man, he can see it too. So I like the way the Lakers are playing right now. But to answer your question, this is what I personally think. Depending on how this season finishes up, this might be his last year with the Lakers, and I can see him going back to Cleveland for one more season to have the final farewell send-off.
Yeah, great points that you made. And I think the point that you made that sticks with me is next year will be determined based on how well the Lakers do in the playoffs.
Yeah.
If the Lakers look like they're a championship contender, can compete, then I think there'll be just some discussion to try to bring them back. Definitely not at the price tag that he's getting paid right now. But I could see them trying to bring him back around 20, maybe 30 million, maybe. It's still a lot for someone of his age, but being the third wheel and accepting that role actually preserves him to be able to play to the level that he's playing. See, like, there's a lot of energy that you have to spend when you are the top dog. Yeah. So now I think he realizes, one, Luka can do it. He can be the top dog. Two, if I play this thing right, I can actually extend my career if I so choose to. Because
playing at the level he playing at right now. You see them dunks the other night at 41 years old, thinking like that.
Yeah, because I think, like, in his mind, he's probably like, I wish this had happened like 3 years early. Because this is what I wasn't planning to be number 3, but at least number 2. And this is what I was wanting from Anthony Davis. You know, because that's really what LeBron thought he was going to be entering after they won that bubble championship. But Anthony Davis never took that next step, which cost possibly LeBron a year or two because he had to expend more energy than his body was able to take, which has allowed him to experience injuries in ways that we haven't seen it before. But I think at the end of the day, if the Lakers have a good showing in the playoffs, and it's the belief that they could be a championship contender in the 26-27 season, he stays with LA. If they get bounced out first round, second round, hello, Cleveland.
Yeah, I agree with that. Definitely we get bounced out first round, it's over with. But if we make a good run, so we'd be like, man, we can just tweak it a little bit. Well, we might be ready next year. Okay, well, come on back. If he wants to come back, that's thing. We don't know what he want to do, but yeah, if he's interested in coming back, then that's something we're gonna have to discuss.
All right. So, Mr. President, thanks for that extra question. Who has the right to do what, when, where, and how, Red? What you got?
Okay, Atlanta Braves, you got the right to stay away from Team USA because y'all went on the team this year and they can't blame none of my Braves players for this debacle. So that's right. You want to keep keeping my Braves off the team, well, just keep us off. And when you lose it again next time, don't look at us. Don't look at nobody on my team, okay? Because no Olsen, no Riley, no Olsen, no Baldwin. Y'all just ignore all our players. Well, fine. You have the right to not blame us for anything that went wrong for Team USA this season because it ain't the Braves' fault, okay? So just don't look at us. You can look at us because we're going to be batting our way to another World Series this year. And we ain't going to come up short like Team USA did because we ain't got no judge on our team. Our guys break at the big moments. That's right, Ron Acuna. Talking for you, baby. Let's go. Braves, baby. Chop it up. Coming Friday. Can't wait.
All right. Atlanta Hawks.
Uh-oh.
You have the right to prove that 11-game winning streak wasn't a fluke. All right, because you were beating up on the NBA's version of the Sisters of the Poor during that 11-game winning streak. There was no game of any value that you won in those 11 games. Besides, let me take that back, the one game you beat the Orlando Magic.
Thank you.
The rest of those games you won, you were what I call chump killers. So we need you to show that you're more than chump killers. So you have a game against a playoff team in the Warriors coming up today. You should beat the Grizzlies on Monday. You have games against the Pistons, Celtics, 2 playoff teams. Within the next 10, you also got Celtics, Magic, who are playoff teams, and then you got the Nets and the Hawks. So you will show us if you're a fraud or not. You have the right to show us that you're not a fraud and that the 11-game winning streak was not fool's gold. All right.
Hey, Red, we got to give credit. They graduated because they used to couldn't even beat the chump teams. They used to get beat by them too. So they finally graduated to at least the Braves level, the chump killers.
Yeah, beating who you're supposed to beat. And that and we got to definitely give them credit for that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the Red and Rev Sports Show. We want to thank you for hanging out with us. We had an extended show, but we thank you. Thank you, Red. Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Revenite Nation, for your presence on today. And we hope that you enjoy the Red and Rev Sports Show, episode 417. We'll be back. Same Facebook page, same YouTube channel, same beginning time at 10:30 next Saturday. So stay tuned. If you enjoyed it, tag somebody. If you enjoyed it even more than what I just said, invite somebody to join us next Saturday at 11 o'clock. I mean at 10:30. Pardon word, Red?
Smash that like button on YouTube, folks.
All right. And also subscribe and follow on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube, and share on both YouTube and Facebook. Peace and love, everybody. Have a great sports weekend. We'll be back talking more March Madness next weekend. Peace.
Out.